3, 2, 1. And we are live. Alright guys, welcome back to the live stream. I see the chat is already freaking out about the music. Thank you very much guys, welcome everybody. People, I'm learning myself, and actually music is something that we should talk about today because our guest is a former musician. I'm gonna do the intro once he's here with us. As for right now, I want to welcome everybody into the chat. Guys, we're gonna do super chats as well, super chats and Streamlabs donations. You have the link pinned in the chat box. Like this, we will be able to see your questions, and at the end of our talk, we're gonna answer the super chat. So if you have any questions for me or for our guest, of course, please post it via super chat or Streamlabs donation. We won't be able to screen through the whole chat and find questions. All right, so much for that. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing great. It has been a while since we had a guest on here. I think at least half a year, maybe even longer than that. So I'm very excited. My voice is a bit low. Okay, thank you very much. Let me adjust that. Should be better now. Check, check, check. Is that fine, guys? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is why I'm coming on before we have our guest here, so everything is set up. Can you hear me now? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1 second. Check, check, check. Let me just check something real quick here. That's probably why. Okay. I'm gonna turn off the noise suppression as well. Here we go. Alright, is this better, guys? Let me know in the chat. Much better. Okay, fantastic. I'm gonna keep it like this. Still a bit strange. Hello, hello. Okay. Too loud. It's better if it's too loud than too quiet, because if it's too loud, you can tone it down. Yeah, I played around with it a bit. I think now it's a bit lower again. Let us set up the mic first. I'm gonna keep on rambling for a minute or two until our guest is here, so everything is synced up perfectly. The desktop audio is on as well. Okay, yes you can, perfect, it's all good. Fantastic. Now I think I made it even a bit louder. I believe this should be perfect. So yeah guys, first guest after a long time. I really think the last guest that we had on here was basically that vegan girl, and after that, that video got deleted because it went kinda off the rails and it wasn't community friendly for YouTube any longer. I hope this won't be the case. However, we do want to talk about certain substances today as well, and I hope YouTube will allow this. So I'm going to give you the disclaimer right away from the start before we have our guest here. All that is being discussed here is simply for educational purposes and, if anything, harm prevention purposes. And I'm not just saying this, I truly mean it. When we're discussing our past or my past specifically here, for example, going to the Amazon jungle, all of this is simply a cautionary tale. Okay? Please understand. And YouTube, you too. This is not to promote anything whatsoever. Truly, I want you to stay away from it. Here's a medical disclaimer on top of that. And I know that within the Muslim community, thank God, those things are prohibited, haram as it is. So thank God for that. But nevertheless, for other people watching that have been thinking about trying those things, we will talk about it. I'm going to censor myself as much as I can. But please do not try this. No matter if legal, of course not illegal, do not try it. Hands off. Okay? So much for that. Alright, now we have 450 people watching. That is absolutely amazing. I would say that is enough people to get this started. So I'm going to send the invite link to John. Then we're going to do the introduction and going to get right into it. Haram, yes, it's haram. And music apparently is haram as well. So we're going to talk about it with John, and who knows, maybe in the end I will be so convinced that I'm going to delete my whole intro. We will see. All in good time. Okay, the link is out. I hope this will run fine. Boomer Bobby is in full effect here. I said it multiple times. I really do not know how I am running a YouTube channel. It's quite a miracle. By myself here, mind you. It's really a wonder that this is running. Okay. Okay, John just joined in. Just give me a second, John. I will have to adjust my camera one last time, hopefully. And then we will start. For the people watching this, yes, feel free to post timestamps in the comment section so people can start watching this from the get-go and don't have to watch the lengthy intro. Thank you very much. Okay, I think this is fine. Alright, let's get over here. This is the Matrix, guys. Here we go. There he is. Halfway there.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, John. Just give me a second.
How's it going?
It's going good so far. Let me just adjust your window a bit. I think you kind of cut off there. That's my fault. One sec. What is going on here? Something in the way. Just one second, guys. I have to adjust John's window here, and then we'll get started right away. Hopefully. Okay. Here we are. Here we are. Ah, that's why. Okay. Right. 100. Oh, that's better. Okay, here we go. Alright, fantastic. John, I'm going to introduce you quickly for the audience. From what I gather, John Fontaine is a former Christian and a former jazz musician that converted to Islam. Moreover, he's an author that wrote the book Jesus and the Injil. Very interesting. He also traveled to Sierra Leone in Africa, where he got in contact with sihr, which is black magic. I'm sure there is plenty of more things to say about him, but this is why he's here today, so we're going to discuss all of this. John, welcome to the show.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. How's it going? Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on, John. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah, alhamdulillah. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
I came across you a few weeks ago, or a couple of months actually. I came aware of your channel. Some of the Muslims were sending me your reaction videos and telling me, this man seems interested in Islam. He's doing a lot of research. So it's interesting how I think last week you reacted to one of my videos about sihr, which is magic in Islam. Right. And you invited me on to come and speak a bit more about that. So nice to be here.
Yeah, nice to be here. Thank you very much for coming on yet again. Yeah, let's jump right in. But before we talk about the sihr and the black magic, I would say give us a little bit of a background story about yourself. How was your life prior to Islam? How did you find out about Islam? And when did you actually revert to Islam? Because I think it has been quite the while already. It's not something that happened recent.
Yeah, I've been a Muslim now for 14 years. Wow. And it's gone very quick, mashallah, subhanallah. It's so quick. I was born and raised in the UK, in Manchester, to a traditionally Christian, Protestant Church of England family. We did try different churches. We did go to an evangelical church for a few years, but we did actually go back to the Church of England. But we were more traditional. It was more of a cultural thing. I know that my father he doesn't believe any. I don't think he's ever believed in Christianity. But we would attend church more for a traditional cultural perspective. It's a part of being English, a part of our culture. Right. So I would go to church. And of course, in the Protestant churches, they don't really teach you the details of belief. They don't teach you at all. So you might be aware, it's probably the same in the Orthodox tradition, that a lot of it is just come to church, sing a few hymns, you meet good people with good morals, good community, sense of community, trustworthy people. Have some tea and biscuits at the end, give a bit of collection money, and off you go. And again, you would attend you would also attend in Easter and birthdays, christenings. When you were. I also got I got baptized as a child, but I also had my first communion when I was when I came of age, around 13 years old.
Oh wow.
And also I used to also play the church organ up until the age of around 13, 14. But prior to this, it was actually the evangelical church which kind of led me away from, well, it was kind of the evangelical church which made me realize I don't actually believe in Christianity. Because in the evangelical churches, they do actually teach the belief that Jesus is God or the Son of God and a part of the Trinity. And they're very, very heavy on teaching their belief system.
Okay.
Whereas the Catholic, Protestant, Orthodox, they kind of brush it under the carpet and don't speak about it as much. But the evangelical church, they really do drill it home that Jesus is God, Jesus is God. And when I was 7 years old, I remember exactly where I was sat in the church, and we had to write a song about God. And my song was Jesus and God, Jesus and God. That was the chorus. And they changed it to Jesus is God. They took the paper, scribbled it out, and changed it to Jesus is God. And I refused to change the words because there's no way. From a very young age, from the age of 7, I knew that Jesus wasn't God, and he isn't God. My concept of God was something I can't imagine. And as I said, even as a Muslim, my concept of God has never changed from being born until now. I have the same belief in God. I've never, even when I came to Islam, it wasn't that I changed my God. It's that I submitted to the God I already believe in. It's just the fact that I never believed in the Christian understanding of God. I never believed in the Trinity. I never believed Jesus was God. But it's just that I didn't know until that point of being 7 years old. That's when I found out, well, this is what you're supposed to believe in Christianity. And I refused to believe that. So, and of course, now being a Muslim, you might be aware that in the Islamic tradition, we have something called the fitra, which is the innate belief in God, where we believe every human being is actually born with the correct understanding of God, which is in fact the Islamic understanding, which is something, a God we can't imagine. It's beyond the creation. It's something we can't imagine. It's something not like the creation. It's not a human. It's not a man. It's not a spirit. It's something you can't compare to anything. Being the most merciful, being all wise, etc. We have many attributes of God, which Allah has told us about in the Quran and the Sunnah. So I didn't change my belief in God. It's just by becoming Muslim, I started to submit to God, and I learned more about God, more about who God is, and kind of correcting some of the points of worship which I may have been doing wrong or not doing, because I didn't have knowledge of it. I didn't have knowledge, and these things are revealed in the Quran and the Hadith. So that was my early kind of introduction to religion. So when after that, I kind of stopped praying. I would only pray to God. So as you know, as Muslims, we say Bismillah, in the name of God.
In the name of God.
As a youngster, from the age of 7 onwards, before I was praying, I would always say, God, I'm praying to you, not Jesus.
Wow.
I would make that distinction. I knew that was wrong, praying to Jesus. From my fitra, and I would always make that distinction. God, I'm praying to you, not Jesus. So that was kind of how I was up until mid-teenage years. And then in my teenage years, I kind of got a job at the age of 14. I was working in a nightclub, and I ended up getting distracted, making money and kind of working and that type of thing. So I kind of drifted away from praying and thinking about God for a very long time. And that's when I started to sing and became a jazz singer and doing the diamond business in Africa and different types of business, all the way up until the age of 23, when becoming Muslim. I accepted Islam in 2008 when I was 23 years old. So that was kind of a rough outline.
Yeah, before we go any further, I have a question there that interests me. Did you ever try to convince yourself of the Trinity? Because for me it was like that, just a brief summary. I was born as an Orthodox Christian, I was baptized at birth pretty much, and then I strayed off the path for a while in my 20s, similar to you, clubbing and whatnot. And then once I returned to it, I found out about the doctrine of the Trinity, and I was the first one within my family. Nobody knew about it. As you said, it is not mentioned within the church.
Yeah.
It was shocking to me. And I couldn't believe it because I was convinced this must be some sort of maybe Protestant concept, maybe Catholic concept, but surely not the Orthodox concept. However, it was, right? And then I told my father about it, and I will never forget this. When I told my father about the Trinity, he looked at me and he said, "So this is what they believe? This is absolutely crazy." And I said, "Who are they?" And he looked at me, "The Muslims, right?" I'm like, no, the Muslims believe in one God. We are supposed to believe this. And he was absolutely shocked. And usually, as a son, my father, of course, he listens to me, but nevertheless, he is the father, and therefore, he's not going to go into depth of what I said. But this was the first time in my life, actually, that he kept on researching himself. And even days after that, he would come to me and tell me, what is up with this Trinity concept? It really bothered him deeply, right? So my point is that once I found out about it, I wanted to believe it for the sake of being part of the religion. Because I saw how a life without religion, without God is. And once I found back to Christianity, I thought if I start cherry picking now, that's the end of me. I cannot start with that. I have to accept the doctrine as a whole. And this is why I made myself believe it. And I tried it for 2 to 3 years straight, but it never worked. And this reminds me of what you said. It just never fit with you. You never believed it. So that's why I want to ask you, did you ever try to make yourself believe it or not?
No, I never. I refused to accept it. It just didn't make sense, and it's just something. My concept of God was very strong, and as I said, it's the same as today. My concept of belief in God has not changed. My God has not changed. Subhanallah. I believed that I was on the fitra, and I found Islam. I never accepted Christianity. And this is the thing, many Christians say, well, he wasn't a Christian. Yeah, fine. I'll admit I was never a Christian. I never believed Jesus was God. But I was raised as a Christian. I went to church. I took part in all the Christian rituals, etc. But I never believed it. I never accepted that in my heart. And even praying in the name of Jesus, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Because my logic was that Jesus prayed to God. Okay, and Moses prayed to God, and Moses and Abraham and all these prophets, they never prayed to Jesus. So why would, somebody so late, Jesus was only 2,000 years ago. How come somebody so late that all of a sudden the fundamental concept of belief changes at the very end of the world? Only 2,000 years ago, we've got the time before Jesus, which is however many thousands and thousands or millions and millions of years, however long that is. But for the sake of human beings, in the timeline of things, Jesus is at the very end of life. And it's like all of a sudden at the end you've got this curveball, and it's like, well, we're going to change the religion, change the fundamental beliefs. And therefore Moses and Abraham and all these prophets were not practicing the religion the same way the people after Jesus were. And what's interesting, even within the Bible, that Jesus prayed the same way the prophets did, the same way Muslims do. They prayed to God, directly to God. So why would people who came after do differently? So I refuse to accept it. And as I said, my family were not strong believers in Christianity. It wasn't a big deal. If I was an atheist, it wouldn't make a difference. I didn't have lots of pressure from my family. We have a very big family, over 60, 70 family members just on one side, just on my father's side. And none of them are really Christian. It doesn't matter if I'm a Christian or not. There was not that pressure. But I did have friends who were from very religious backgrounds. Their family was a very evangelical, close families. And it's more difficult for people like that to leave that faith because, your family will literally reject you, And to be honest, I mean, I wouldn't say my family rejected me. But of course, as I became a Muslim, they were worried about me. They had concerns because of all the media and it's a very foreign religion. It's not something they know much about.
Absolutely.
So they had genuine concerns of thinking, wondering, am I brainwashed or how come especially because I was not this type of person that was searching for religion. I was happy as a non-Muslim. I was singing, I was popular, I had money, I had everything else that comes with money. All the luxuries and worldly life. I was happy. It wasn't that I needed. I necessarily needed. I was looking for something. I was looking for acceptance. I had people were shocked when I became a Muslim. I was giving money up. I was giving fame and women and who have everything else that comes with it. People were not understanding. How can you leave that life? It's a life that many people wanted. But for me, it was about being sincere to my belief. Because when I found Islam, it's like, well, this is exactly the same God I've been praying to all my life. This is the concept of prophets that I had. This is the concept of angels, the concept of Judgment Day. The whole thing makes sense to me, fully in line with my innate belief. So if I was to deny it, I'd be a hypocrite. I'd be a total hypocrite. What's the point in believing these things if you don't submit? If the devil believes in God, it's not enough to believe. It's not enough to believe in God. This is the thing. Islam is not believing God. The message of the prophets in the Quran, that the prophets don't tell people to believe in God. In the Quran, the prophets tell people to submit to God, to worship God. Because this is the message of the prophets, worship God. Belief in God is a given. I believe everyone deep down believes. There's no real atheist. Because Allah says when they're on their sinking ship, they call out to their creator. When they're in the time of need, they call out to God. So the point is that when we're coming back to sincerity with God, the point is that are we going to accept or are we going to reject? And I couldn't reject. I had to accept. And of course, it was difficult, giving up alcohol, giving up money, giving up certain things. Haram money, haram, haram. Different things. Andrew would say haram, giving up certain things. It wasn't easy in the beginning. I had to find different ways to support myself financially and also social circles, changing my social circles, getting better friends. Yes, it's not easy, but again, it's about sincerity.
Absolutely. It's quite interesting what you mentioned there, that your family members, they weren't really religious and they wouldn't have cared ultimately if you were, for example, an atheist. I can say that from my side of the family, it is not about religion, it is about identification, it is about culture. And on the Balkan, where I'm from, the identification as a Christian or as a Muslim defines you. It puts you in a camp. And that is so important to the people down there that they really do not even care about the doctrines whatsoever. I told this story before. When I was 16 years old, I went to my Serbian friends, and they're Christian Orthodox as well. It was some sort of holiday about a particular saint, Saint Nicholas, I think. I had no idea. So we went over there to
Yeah.
celebrate the holiday, and I was genuinely interested. So I asked the father of my friend, who was the same age as my dad, I asked him, why do we celebrate this day? And he freaked out. He looked at me, he got really angry, and told me basically, why would you ask me such a stupid thing? My father celebrated this holiday, my grandfather celebrated this holiday, and I'm gonna celebrate this holiday as well. And meanwhile, he was drinking alcohol and eating pork at this holiday, and that's what this was about for him. About the celebration, about the culture, about the tradition, done deal. He didn't even care who the saint was that they were celebrating.
Yeah.
And for me, that was mind-boggling, man. I couldn't believe it, really. I was so disappointed because I saw, for example, Muslims, when they celebrate a certain thing, they knew what it was. I had no idea why we do those things. And even if I asked my elders, they wouldn't give me an answer whatsoever. So within my family, and this is pretty interesting for my viewers to find out as well, because they always push me, hey, convert now. Of course, but you have to understand, there is a surrounding as well, right? And in my upbringing, in my family, to change the sides, so to speak, is like treason. It is the biggest betrayal. So with that, I would become the biggest enemy within my family, that is for sure. But nevertheless, if the truth is seen, then it has to be accepted. I'm not a guy that will choose the soft way, but it is really about the identification and how strong that is. The people that will give you the biggest pushback are the people that have no idea about their own doctrine. It's really the case.
Yeah. It's just pure culture there. Same with me. You know, usually people who have faith are a bit more gentle. So the people who are just doing it for cultural reasons are a bit more, you know, about more of a tribal thing, more of a cultural.
100%.
And but yeah, I mean, it is difficult. You know, a lot of Muslims don't realize they're converting. Taking that step to convert to Islam. You know, the fact that many things come with it. You know, you will get backlash from friends, from family, but at the same time, it's about sincerity, and from the Islamic perspective, at the bare minimum, somebody should accept, even if it's privately. It doesn't have to be, on YouTube and millions of people know about it, but you should at least have a witness or two, from the Muslim community to know that somebody's actually accepted Islam. And because this is, when somebody accepts Islam, they're guaranteed their final destination is paradise. And I know you probably know this. You've probably reviewed more Islamic content than I've watched. But the point is that, for those who are listening, it'll benefit them. Because there's a lot of people, even non-Muslims on your channel, who are still in their journey, that don't feel that you have to tell your parents straight away. I didn't tell my parents for a while because I knew they don't know much about Islam. At the time I was living with them. So who knows, maybe they're going to kick me out. I'm going to need financial support of them.
Right.
And this is fine. At the time of the Prophet ﷺ, he had his two uncles. One uncle was against Islam. One uncle, he wasn't a Muslim, but he was actually supporting the Prophet and the Muslims financially and with his protection. He actually died a non-Muslim, but he was actually supporting the Prophet ﷺ. So there's different types of relationships that we have as a Muslim with our family members when we come to Islam. Some of them will be happy, some of them won't be, but ultimately you can't please all the people at the same time. At the same time, the main thing is that we have accepted Islam, because it's a complete, not accepting Islam, having known about it, is not acceptable. Like for instance, I know I have family members that I know they've not actually heard the message of Islam. Even though, they've got me as a family member, I know that they've not heard enough about Islam to have been given the message. Now, Allah knows best, ultimately, but these people, we're told, there's a hadith, that some people who die as non-Muslims are given a test on the Day of Judgment. Because if they didn't hear the message of Islam, they're given a test to see if they would have accepted, to see if they were sincere, basically. But people who have heard the message of Islam, and they've refused to accept it. You know, there's no second chance. There's no test on Judgment Day. You know, and that's the really important thing for those who are listening. That if you do believe, it's so important that you do take the step of submission. You know, declaring the Shahada and starting your journey, learning the other pillars of Islam, and taking it from there. It's not, a lot of mistakes people do is they think I have to know everything about Islam before I become a Muslim. No,
Right.
It's about knowing who your God is, knowing that only He deserves to be worshipped, and knowing that the final prophet is Muhammad. And declaring it. It's not just believing it. Remember, it's not just belief. Shaitan believes, the devil believes. It's declaring it, taking that step and declaring it, and also submitting in the form of salah, prayer. The 5 daily prayers is something that you learn once you become a Muslim. So yeah, I mean, I can't stress it so much, for those out there who are looking into Islam, that they really should, take that step, and Allah will make it easy as well. He does make it easy, subhanAllah. And we're not living in a time like the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, where the companions, some of them were being killed for accepting Islam. Some of them were being tortured. No doubt that converts today have it rough, but it's far from how it was 1400 years ago.
Nothing in comparison.
It's nothing we can't handle, inshallah.
Yeah, that's very powerful what you said there. Yeah. Just one thing, one interjection. You said before converting, you don't have to know everything about Islam. And I would agree with that for sure. But at the same time, for me personally, and I want to disclose this here on this channel as well, I come from a background where I experimented with so many ideologies, and I have to say that the last experiment, if you will, with returning to Christian Orthodoxy, oh man, it really crushed me, I have to say. Because when I was in it, I was so convinced that this must be the truth. And then once this fabric started crumbling, I thought to myself, what is real now? What is really real? I went through, be it shamanism, be it Buddhism, be it Hinduism, all of those things. And then dietary, I went vegan, raw vegan. I fasted only on water, juice for 35 days and whatnot. I did it all. Don't try it. And after that, when I returned in my mind to God, I found orthodoxy, and I said to myself, this is it, right? Now I'm home, now I'm solid, and this won't crumble. But once that ideology started crumbling as well, I said to myself, man, now I have to be super cautious. And that's the main reason why I'm learning so intensely about Islam, because I don't want to be in that same state again.
I want to ask you. I want to get onto a bit about your experience in the South America and in the Amazon, and a bit about your kind of journey. But at the point when you said, right, well, that's not true, and you found Orthodox Christianity, and you said this is definitely true. What was it that made you so certain at the time that Orthodox Christianity was true? What was it that had it for you at the time?
Very interesting question. Before I get into that, guys, please do me a favor and tell me if my mic sounds all right now. I've seen a bunch of complaints in the chat box. Is it clear now? Is it loud enough? I think it sounds fine to you as well, yeah, but maybe it transmutes somehow differently to YouTube. Is this fine, guys? 1, 2, 3, check, let me know before we continue. Is this okay? Let me know. It's good? Okay, fantastic. And that is a great question. So, I have to rewind here. I was never interested in those substances. And I'm going to try to censor myself as much as I can, otherwise my channel will get shadow banned again. All my videos on this subject have been deleted by YouTube and have been striked, etc., unfortunately. I don't know why. Joe Rogan is able to talk about it, but I certainly cannot.
Don't speak too much about it.
2011, I got very, very sick. I had an autoimmune disorder and nothing helped. This is when I started looking into certain other things, and essentially it was a friend of mine that brought me into those so-called plant medicines. This is when I started experimenting with certain fungi, I'm going to call them, and it helped tremendously. Honestly, almost overnight my symptoms were gone. I was half paralyzed before that. My right leg was swollen to twice the size and I was limping. And just after one intake of those substances, the next day I was fine. And that actually led me down a rabbit hole of researching further, finding out about vegetarianism, veganism, then shamanism, and then I went to the Amazon jungle. The point of the story is, when I was in the Amazon jungle, at first I was convinced that it was evil Christianity that has suppressed those practices. That it was evil Christianity, the conquistadors, that went over to South America and they destroyed that culture. They destroyed shamanism because they said this is witchcraft, paganism. And for a brief moment, I really was on the side of those perceived pagans, right? And I thought, this is really the mystery. This is essentially the key to the universe. The secrets are hidden within those shamanic brews. And if I ingest plenty of it, and if I participate in those rituals, then I will truly know what is what. And once I started with those things, you get a lot of different messages. You get a lot of different insights, a lot of perceived truths, and a lot of religious experiences even. And when I saw that for myself, I thought, essentially religion is just theory. And the real practice is if you do those substances. So ultimately I thought that religion itself was a watered down attempt at spirituality. And this is when I was certain that I really want to find out by myself, very similar to the Gnostic Christians, that gnosis is happening within your own self. The knowledge is being experienced within your own self and not externally, not in a book, not by some man telling you something in the church. I will find it out by myself in the jungle. However, in my last ceremony, I was attacked. So yet again, guys, you can believe this or not, it's up to you. I'm not saying this is true necessarily. Some atheist will say that this is some sort of hallucination. Be it as it may, during that experience, a brujo appeared. And a brujo is a dark shaman, so essentially like a witch doctor. He wasn't physical, he was made out of shadow, out of darkness. And he appeared in front of me and he started shooting at me like laser rays. And they started essentially rupturing my soul. And I saw pieces of my soul disappearing. And I thought that if this continues, I will simply die. I will lose my soul. I will end up in hell. So the only thing that I knew, out of a sudden, I remembered, was doing the cross. That was the only thing I knew as a protection, because this is what I've been told. At that moment in time, I don't know anything about Islam. So I did that cross, and I said, I do not want to participate here. This is not my place. I am not from your tribe. I'm not from your people. I apologize. I'm going to leave. Please let me survive, and I'm going to leave. And after I did that cross, the brujo disappeared, and everything went back to normal. So that was this religious experience that I had within that experience. And I said to myself, okay, and you heard me say this probably, there must be some sort of power within the cross. And this then led me further into researching orthodoxy, returning to Christianity. Because after those experiences, John, I was left alone. Nothing really helped. So I saw all of this. I saw the shadow realm. I saw all of those different dimensions, call them what you will. And after that, in my everyday life, I felt totally alone, totally lost, and nothing really helped. Moreover, I started building up a spiritual ego where I thought, oh, I'm so better than anybody else because I've seen those things. I've seen those things and now I know more, right? Nobody can tell me anything. And I was so arrogant at that point that even the stories about the prophets, I said, well, I've seen similar things or even greater things. Who are those prophets? I was that arrogant at that point. And that's why after that I found myself in shambles. I started researching orthodoxy and I was always thinking about that experience, right? This is why I believe this to be the truth now.
You know, I had a similar experience. I'd not spoke about it just then, but you know, as you know, I actually found Islam initially in Africa. I was in Sierra Leone, Senegal, Nigeria, Ghana, these West African countries, and there's a lot of Muslims in these countries, and sadly, some of the Muslims are involved in dealing with magic and dealing with you know, the world of the Jinn. You know, and what you explained there, I believe, is connected with the world of the Jinn. And for those who are listening and who don't know, the world of the Jinn is like a parallel, kind of like a parallel universe, if you like. It's alongside us. But there's a world of spirits And these are not dead human spirits. This is the thing, because as non-Muslims, we have this concept of ghosts, and we think that dead humans, that their souls become ghosts. And that's not the Islamic concept. The Islamic concept, once you're dead, your soul is now in a barzakh. It's in a place which cannot communicate with humans anymore. So how do we explain these kind of spirits that contact humans? These spirits are called the Jinn. And these are similar to humans in the sense that they have a soul. Okay, they have their own spirit, their own soul, but they're different to humans. They don't have a body like humans. They can take different types of shapes. They can come in a form of a human. They can come in a form of cats, dogs, snakes. They can come in a form of different things, shadows. They can, but their natural state is they're invisible. We can't see them. Okay. So this kind of world of the Jinn is same as humans. They have the ability to choose right and wrong. So some of the Jinn are Muslim and some of them are not. When it comes to angels, this is another type of spirit which do the work of God. But these angels, they don't have the ability to do right and wrong. They simply obey the commands of God. Whereas Jinn are like humans, they have the choice to do right and wrong. They have religions. They can choose to be Muslim or not, etc. So the ones which are bad and evil, they actually contact the humans. And the same as the humans who are bad and evil contact them. And this is how we explain things like fortune telling, tarot card reading, the type of experience you had where Jinn literally tried to make a contract with humans and tried to show them their limited powers that Allah has allowed them to have. It's not that they have power other than what God has given them. But, you know, they try to do contracts with humans so that they, so that basically the human becomes a magician. He becomes a type of magician. He becomes a type of tarot card reader. And the Jinn may give this human information. Sometimes the Jinn can whisper in the ear and tell you information about something that might happen because they have certain access to information. So the point is that it's basically a trick. You know, the tarot card reader or the one who's reading your palm or the magician, he's telling you about your life. He's telling you, oh, you know, your mother used to make this special cake for you on a Tuesday, and only you know about that cake. But there's not only you that knows about the cake. The Jinn that is with you also knows about the cake. And that Jinn can share this information with these people, and that's how they trick people. You know, you see a lot of these people, they're filling out stadiums, pretending that they're contacting dead people, you know, because people have the hope of contacting their dead loved ones. So, you know, the point is that this is how the world of the Jinn works. And I back onto my story, I had a similar experience where I came into contact with so-called Muslims, people who are Muslim by name, people who looked like Muslims, they wear Muslim clothes, etc. They identify as Muslims, but they were involved in magic. They were dealing with magicians who were ultimately dealing with the Jinn. And this is something that I also became very familiar with. And for me, it was real. The things that were happening, the things they were saying, they were asking the Jinn to do things. And without going into too much detail, it was happening and it was real. And I couldn't explain it. And it wasn't until when I came back to the UK and I spoke to some of my Muslim friends and I told them what I'd seen the Muslims doing, where they actually corrected that. And they said, no, this is not allowed in Islam. This is forbidden. This is haram. And it's not allowed. And they gave me the correct understanding of Islam, that this is not something we're allowed to delve into. So, you know, these things exist. Ultimately, they exist. But, you know, it's all a test. The job of the evil shayateen is to try to get humans to not accept Islam. to forget about Allah.
Wow.
So ultimately, for the everyday person who is not thinking about God, guess what? Shaitan will not appear to you. Why? Because you're already not thinking about God. You won't have these experiences. You won't see anything involved with jinn. You won't see any experiences. Why? Because the jinn doesn't want you to be.
Oopsie, we just lost John there. I think this is due to my Zoom setup. 1 second, we're gonna bring him right back, guys. Apologies for that. Just 1 second, we're gonna be right back. Alright, and we are back. Sorry guys, apparently there's a time limit here. I totally forgot this when I was talking to Sheikh Uthman ibn Farouk. We had the same issue, and we talked for over 3 hours, so we had to cut it off at least 4 or 5 times. So apologies for that. I think it's going to happen again in an hour or so if we're still here. Anyways, we're talking about the jinns.
Yeah, so the jinn, they don't want you to believe in the jinn as well, because if you believe in jinn, you believe in God. Right, you know, that's so for the normal people who have forgot God, they forgot about God. The jinn, these experiences, you won't have them. But for somebody like you, Bobby, who was searching for the truth, you were searching for purpose to the point that you go to the Amazon rainforest looking for purpose. You're obviously getting close to the truth. If you're not going to find it in the Amazon, you're going to find it somewhere else. And this is why you had this type of experience, which was basically meant to make you believe in that, you know, to stop your search. But what you did, you had an innate belief that it's not right for you, and you went back to God. But the problem is your reference for God was Christianity. So you made the cross. That was out of tradition.
Absolutely.
It wasn't out of fitra. If you raise a child in the jungle, they will never make a cross for protection. It's something you have to learn, right? But if you is to raise children in the jungle and they want protection, they will do what every human being does and ask God, "Oh God, help me." You know, it's like it's an innate belief, and Allah mentions this in the Quran. I mentioned it before. He says when they're on a sinking ship, they call out to God. Every human being has made dua to God. They've made a prayer to God. They've sought the help from God directly. Everyone has at some point in their life, they've prayed. They've said a little prayer to God. You know, and this is the thing. So yeah, these experiences are literally trials. You know, which ultimately Allah's going to test us. He says he's going to test us with loss of life, with wealth, you know, with our children, with our families, with everything is going to be a test. And it's to see who is going to be sincere, who's going to submit to God, who is the one who is going to accept the truth when it's been given to them.
That's really interesting. About the jinns, I just want to say one thing. Why this concept in Islam was so fascinating to me personally is because in Christianity we have angels and demons, and that's it. You just have good and bad, very black and white.
Yeah.
But once I had those experiences in the Amazon jungle, I couldn't relate to that either, because what I saw, yes, there were dark entities, evil entities, good entities, if you will, but everything in between as well. Everything in between. And once I started finding out about the concept of the jinn, it made so much more sense to me, because the jinn are described similar to us humans, and correct me if I'm wrong here, in a different dimension. We cannot see them, and you have certain jinns that are maybe good or not that evil as well. So you have many, many different facets
Yeah.
of jinn. And that made so much sense to me once I found
Yeah.
it in Islam.
Yeah, there's good jinn and there's bad jinn,
Oh.
but even the good jinn, realistically, they shouldn't be contacting humans.
Right.
Realistically, the jinn have their world, we have our world. But our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was also for the jinn. That's the thing, that the jinn have a human prophet, but we don't have a jinn prophet. So they're asked to follow Islam. The Quran is also for them. There's a whole chapter in the Quran called Surah Jinn, the chapter of the jinn. The Prophet, peace be upon him, gave dawah to the jinn. But as I said, the evil ones, we call them shayateen. And Iblis was one of the creatures of the jinn. He wasn't a fallen angel. We don't have this concept that angels can fall.
Yeah.
When I mean fall, I mean, fall from grace, fall from being good. Angels simply don't have the ability to reject the right way. They obey Allah. So so we believe that Iblis was one of the creatures of the jinn. So yeah, I mean, this is some of the things, some of the lessons that we can learn from it. But I wanted to ask you, Bobby, a bit about the question I asked before, which was when you went back. So you realized what you were doing in the Amazon was not correct. That was from the fitra, 100%. But then your reference was traditionally Christianity. So you went to Orthodox Christianity, and you said that you were so certain about that. What was it that made you so certain?
That's a really good question, and nobody ever asked me that, man. I would really have to think about what made me certain. So I think it was my biases, ultimately. If I really dive deep and think about it, because I've never did it, it must have been my biases, because on the Balkan, it was certain that the Muslims were the bad guys. We had 500 of years of war with the Ottoman empires, or at least this is what I'm being told, right? It's the Ottoman empires versus us. They took Janissaries, so that means they took our baby boys and made them into Muslim soldiers. And they, went over, took our women, etc., etc. So it would feel like this evil thing, ultimately. I never saw it as a religion of God. So therefore, that was completely out of the context for me. And ultimately, I believed, and this is my bias, that if connecting to God, then only through Christianity. Because for me, it was certain that Judaism is an ethnical-based religion. So that's definitely not for me. Islam, bad, that's simple. And Hinduism, Buddhism, I already tried out. It is not really about monotheism. And that's why I came to believe in Christianity. And I thought that this must be true then. Moreover, I went to Mount Athos. And Mount Athos is a little autonomous island in Greece. It's not under Greek government, but their own autonomous government, similar to the Vatican. It is the equivalent to the Vatican, but the Orthodox version. What they do over there is, this island has existed for over 1,000 years now, and they established churches for the Romanian Orthodox Church, for the Russian Orthodox Church, for the Greek one, and for the Bulgarian one. There are only men over there. Women are not allowed on that island, and for over 1,000 years they're living the original monastic lifestyle. So just monks, priests, archbishops, and they're simply doing their ceremonies, their worship. Nobody else is allowed. You even need a specific visa to enter. And I went over there and I felt truly guided by God to go over there. This was after my experiences. I went there for a spiritual journey, a pilgrimage, if you will. And once I made it over there, I realized that you need to register with those monasteries in order to be able to sleep there. I didn't do that. So I was left alone on that island. And I had to walk through the forests where you have wolves as well, scared for my life basically, looking where I could sleep now. So my pilgrimage became a little bit more extreme, and I went from monastery to monastery, begging ultimately for them to let me in. And I interpreted that as essentially God humbling my ego, right? Me going on this journey, being humble, having to beg in front of those monasteries to walk in there. And it took me the whole day. Ultimately, the night started setting in, and finally I made it to a monastery, and those guys welcomed me, they hugged me, and they told me, it must have been Mother Mary that brought you here. And man, that crumbled the whole experience. I thought to myself, how can that even be, right? The whole day I'm on this journey, running away from wolves here, fearing for my life. And now I'm entering holy grounds, and the first thing those guys tell me is that Mother Mary brought me here. How would it have been Mother Mary? If anybody, it was God, right? So that was another experience that started shaking my faith. And one last thing. Usually people go there, Orthodox Christians, they go there in order to reaffirm their faith. It is a little bit like going to Mecca, like a light version of that. Going there, reaffirming your faith. This is the pilgrimage for Orthodox Christians. And I went over there, and my faith got shattered.
Wow, subhanAllah. So that's the thing. I mean, when you said that you were sure with Christianity, it doesn't sound that you was that sure based on Christianity itself. It seems to be more of a elimination process where you eliminate Judaism because you can't be Jewish, not properly anyway, and you eliminated Islam because they're a bunch of terrorists, basically, and then you're left with Christianity, but that's not how it works, is it? It's like, I mean, to be fair, Bobby, I mean, even I've not watched all your videos, but I've watched enough to kind of get a gist and an insight into you and your research, and I have a lot of experience with people, before Islam, even in Islam, I speak to thousands of people, and I know what people are like, and there's a lot of YouTubers now who are literally just reacting to Muslim videos, just for the sake of money. Sure. It's become a Muslim thing. I mean, if you look at, I'm not that known in the Islamic world, but I'm known compared to a lot of people. Like when it comes to dawah, people do know me. Obviously, there's far more famous people like Muhammad Jab and all Ali Dawah and all these other people, Sajid, and people with huge channels. But the point is that Muslims, they like to follow non-Muslims who are interested in Islam, and it's become a bit of a game with a lot of these YouTubers, and I don't see that from yourself. What I feel, I feel that you genuinely are looking into Islam. I think you're genuinely, looking for the truth. But as I said, there are many people out there who are just, they're just reacting for the sake of likes and views. But the thing with yourself is, from looking at your videos, is I think you ask the right questions. The questions that somebody who's interested, who's genuinely looking into the religion or researching, they're the actual questions that you would ask. Whereas some of the other channels, you can tell they're just reacting. They just it's just clickbait.
I really appreciate
for me, Bobby.
I really appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. I mean, this is the kind of, as I said, I've not watched all your videos, but from the limited selection I've seen, you ask the right questions at the right time. That's the kind of train of thought that you would naturally have if you're researching. The question is I mean, regardless of how difficult it is to convert for yourself or whether you believe or not, but I think that you do believe. I think from your research, from the information you've been given, somebody who is sincere would not be even promoting Islam in this way. I mean, even if if it isn't the right religion, you're sure already misguiding people towards it. Because Muslims are becoming stronger in faith by watching your videos. They're becoming more convinced. They're learning through your videos, and even Christians are learning through your videos. So, and that. So somebody who who doesn't believe or is not fully convinced yet would not want that to be the outcome of their video. If anything, you would try to give her a bit more balance. But your videos are very leaning towards the Islamic side. It's like you already believe it. And is that the case? What's your take on Islam, and where are you with it at the moment?
You're asking really amazing questions, I have to say here yet again. And those are questions that I haven't been asked directly like so. Do I believe in Islam? What I believe in is in one God. All right? That is crystal clear to me. I believe in the Islamic concept of God as well. Tawheed resonates with me. As you said, you didn't have to change your concept of God once you became Muslim. I fully agree with that. And I personally cannot make myself believe in anything other than that God is one and transcendent of all, nothing like the creation. Right? With that, I fully agree. And I said that multiple times on my channel here. Where I am at with Islam, it is essentially a blockage and almost a fear, I would say, of the man-made. Because I found that in Christianity, the man-made, right? Be it Paul, for example, and how he twisted scripture. When I started looking into Islam, I found out about the Quran, but then about the Hadith. So I became skeptical about that. My last fear, my last blockages ultimately is Islam truly, fully the embodiment of monotheism with no ifs and buts? Or is there anything that is man-made and introduced and changed? And this is my fear, so to speak, because if I would find out that there is such a thing, an introduction of humans at a certain given point in time, that would crumble my faith again. So yet again, where I am with Islam, monotheism, the concept of God, crystal clear, prophets, crystal clear, but the religion, the organized religion, if you will, of Islam, is it truly the manifestation of monotheism?
See, you know, like I said, you asked the right questions at the right time, because that's the right. And by the way, it's the same thing that I went through. So me, I believed in Tawheed, I believed in the oneness of God, and then I believed the Quran is from God direct. And then I found out about the Hadith, and I'm like, whoa, stop right there. I was like, you're telling me that that basically the companions of Muhammad basically recorded and wrote down sayings and actions of Muhammad? Right. That sounds a bit like the New Testament. You know, that's basically what was in my mind at the time, because I was thinking, well, the Quran's direct from God, but the Hadith is basically humans narrating what they saw the Prophet Muhammad do. Exactly. And for a while, a very short while, I mean, I'm talking about 2 or 3 days, I rejected Hadith. I said, I only believe in Quran. And this was very early in my Islam, because I knew the Quran was basically God speaking. But the Hadith is not God speaking, but it is a type of revelation, right? But I didn't accept the Hadith to begin with, because it was too open to corruption. That's what I thought.
Yes, same here.
So then when I started to research more, I had full belief, 100%, that the Quran is preserved, and that it's the speech of God. It's not the speech of Muhammad. It's not from Muhammad. It's the speech of God directly given to Muhammad. I believe that. But then with the Hadith, I had trouble with this. But then when you learn how the Hadith are preserved, and is there Hadith that are not authentic, that are from humans, that are invented by humans? Yes, there is. Is there Hadith that are not necessarily revelation? Yes, there is. And this is the point. We have to understand what a Hadith actually is. Just because it's a Hadith, it doesn't mean necessarily that it's from the religion of Islam. And I'll explain why. So Hadith literally just means a narration. Okay? So over time, in the first few centuries of Islam, there was many narrations about Prophet Muhammad. Now, if something basically narrates something the Prophet Muhammad said or did, this is classed as revelation, but it's not classed as the Quran. So in Islam, there's different types of revelation. There's the Quran, which is the word of God, the Kalam Allah, the word of Allah, right? And then there's another type of revelation, which is an inspiration that is given only to prophets. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was given a type of revelation. So everything he said and everything he did was basically a type of revelation, because he's been given guidance by God. Okay. So over the first few centuries, there was many narrations about Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad did this, Prophet Muhammad said this, Prophet Muhammad said that. And ultimately, this was in the early time of Islam, where there was also some religious divisions. There was wars going on. There was the split between Shia, where the Shia left the main body of Islam. There was other sects, the Khawarij, who also left the main body of Islam. There was Jews and Christians who were also mixed up in the Hadith, where some of their sayings and the things that they wrote about became attributed to the Prophet Muhammad. And some of these sayings were also just complete lies and fabrications, where people had made up stories about Muhammad. So the scholars of Islam made a very unique system. It's called Isnad. And I don't know if have you come across this before?
No, I haven't.
So Isnad is basically, in English, it means chain of narration. So for instance, maybe 2 generations after the Prophet Muhammad, you would have a scholar or one of the tabi'in or even the students of the tabi'in, where they would narrate something about the Prophet. They would say the Prophet Muhammad did this. So the scholars would say, how do you know he did that?
Right.
So he says, well, this person told me, and he would name one of the tabi'in, which is one of the students of the Sahaba. He would say, this particular person told me. And then he would say, who told him? He would say, the Sahaba, one of the companions of the Prophet, maybe Umar ibn Khattab told him, and Umar heard it from Muhammad direct. So you have a complete chain of narration. Does that make sense? So from the time when it was heard to the time when it was given, all 3 or 4 or 5 people in the chain of narration. And the scholars have a complete science on knowing which hadith are authentic and which hadith are not authentic, and which hadith are complete fabrications. And this science is so detailed that they will tell you exactly why it's not authentic. For instance, the person in the chain, he had a weak memory at this particular time when he was narrating it. Or he was when he was younger, he had a good memory, but when he was older, he had a bad memory. So we don't accept that hadith. Or this particular person was not known to be a trustworthy person, so we can't accept that hadith. It's any way possible. They basically try to prove the hadith wrong. It's not that they try to prove a hadith right. Does that make sense? They try every possible way to show the hadith is not preserved. And then once that has stood up to the science of Isnad, then only then can the hadith be accepted. So certain scholars, like for instance Imam Ahmed, he comes around 200 years after the Prophet Muhammad. But remember, it's only like 3, 4. It's still the 3rd generation of Muhammad.
Yeah.
Or the 4th generation. Yeah, the 3rd generation. So the point is that Imam Ahmed, he collected many hadith into a book. But not all these hadith are authentic, because his intention was not to collect only authentic hadith. His intention was to collect everything, and then they're going to analyze these hadith and find the ones that are actually fully authentic. And then his student, Imam Bukhari. Have you heard of Imam Bukhari?
Of course, Sahih al-Bukhari. I know.
Yeah, so Sahih Bukhari, he's a student of Imam Ahmed.
I didn't know
He,
that.
yeah, he was a student of Imam Ahmed. He now has an intention to make a book with only the highest authentic hadith, the super authentic hadith, which no one can deny. These are like undeniable authentic hadith. And so he started to search in the books. He traveled over the world, taking the hadith from people, checking the isnad very carefully. And that's why Sahih Bukhari today is the most authentic book after the Quran. And then his student was Imam Muslim. You might have heard of Sahih Muslim.
Yes.
And he did the same thing. He had a collection of hadith which he meticulously analyzed. And then his student, they have all the 6 books of hadith. You have Dawood and Nisa'i and Tirmidhi. All these were the age of hadith. They were basically students which came from Imam Ahmed, and they started to analyze the hadith meticulously, not with the intention of proving, but the intention of throwing all the fake ones out. Because at the time, the religion had become, not the religion, but the religion had become mixed with corruption. Yes. The religion can never be corrupt, but it can become mixed with corruption. And that's why some people were doing certain actions which were not correct. So for instance, some people worshipping graves. 1 minute, this clearly goes against Islam. This is not something the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did. And so when we analyze, when you actually understand this properly, subhanAllah, you realize that the authentic hadith, when it's the Quran and the authentic hadith, we fully submit to it because it's undeniable. Now, there's some hadith which are scholars disagree on. Some scholars accept some hadith and some scholars say, no, this isn't authentic. This is where there can be difference of opinion on certain hadith. And that's not a problem. These are minor issues. These are not to do with, they're not to do with theology. They're not to do with Tawheed. They're to do with, manners and things like that. And then there's some hadith which are weak. We don't use them. And then there's some hadith which are fabricated, completely lies. They're proved to be lies. So this is kind of a rough understanding of the hadith. But when you understand how detailed it is, and it's amazingly preserved, and even many non-Muslim, who have studied this, are amazed by the science of hadith. There's a Christian scholar actually commented on it, saying the New Testament isn't even preserved at the level of hadith. Wow. Our hadith is really, when the hadith in Bukhari, for instance, we can be sure that Prophet Muhammad said and did them things. SubhanAllah, with complete certainty. So
this is exactly the certainty. This is the certainty that I would have to find for myself. Would you have any material that I could read aside from the hadith to kind of confirm that again for me, to do the research, to understand the science behind it?
Yeah, I can send you some books to read, definitely on how not only the present. See, the thing is that the Quran is hadith. See, people say they have an issue with hadith, but technically the Quran is hadith. Because how do you know that the Quran is the Quran?
Okay, I would have to take it up on faith, I guess. I wouldn't know. As a layman, I just read it.
You know the Quran is the Quran because Prophet Muhammad told us. And he told one of the Sahaba, one of his companions, and his companions told one of his companions who told one of his companions. And eventually the Quran comes to us. This is how the hadith is. It's exactly the same. It's different people that have recorded, but it's exactly the same science. Because you did not hear the Quran directly from God. And you did not hear the Quran directly from Prophet Muhammad. You heard the Quran from YouTube or by taking a copy of the Quran.
Right.
How do you know that's the Quran that Muhammad had? Because it's been handed down successfully and it's authentically, it's been handed down and preserved. So So that's why you believe the Quran is the Quran. The same with the sayings and the actions of Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet Muhammad spoke. When it was the Quran, he would tell his companions, this is the Quran. And when it wasn't the Quran, they would know this is not the Quran. But the same way the Quran has reached you is the same way Sahih Bukhari has reached you.
I heard you mention...
It's exactly the same.
I understand, but I heard you mention in your video, when I reacted to you, that you had this prayer book, The Fortress of the Muslim.
Yes.
And certain prayers were directly from the Quran, I believe, certain texts, and others were from the Hadith. And you felt that they were different.
Yes.
And
yes,
I haven't read all the Hadiths myself, but when I read them, I can clearly... I know this is an appeal to emotion, but I just feel that they're different. I had exactly the same feeling that you said.
They are different because the Quran is kalamullah. So it's all revelation. But the Quran is the word of Allah. It's the speech of God. It's God speaking directly to you. Whereas the revelation to what Prophet Muhammad was speaking and doing was something that he was inspired, either through, he would be inspired to say something or do something. This is also revelation, but it's not the same level as the kalamullah, as the speech of God. Now from a Sharia perspective, it's the same level. From a legal perspective, for instance, if Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said don't do this, it's from God. God told him to tell us not to do it, so it's still the same from a legal perspective. But from a status perspective, you cannot put the Kalam Allah the same as the Hadith, but it's still revelation, And this is the thing, the beauty of the speech and the actions of Prophet Muhammad is they're also perfect. SubhanAllah, if you compare the whole legal system of the Quran and the speech of Muhammad, it fits fully. If you compare a law from one person to another, or one nation to another, or even one person to another, one judge to another. So imagine you have two judges in the same city. One will have his rulings, one will have another. Sure. And this is why you have different precedents set, and it causes confusion in the court. But subhanAllah, when the rulings of the Prophet, peace be upon him, which are from God, and the ones which are direct from God, are fully in line because he's coming from the same lawgiver, the God. So this is why this is the beauty of it, right? Because the preservation of Hadith is done independently from the contents of the Hadith. Whether the Hadith makes sense, if you like, or agrees with the Quran, the Hadith is certified or not, right? And yes, there are some when they are looking at Hadith, they will also look at the text to see if it makes sense. But the point is that we don't always rationally throw out a Hadith just because we think it doesn't make sense. The point is that when you bring all the Hadith and the Quran together, it all fits perfectly. It's from the same lawgiver, and that's the beauty of it. But yeah, it's really amazing the way that the Quran has been preserved, and not just the Quran, the Hadith as well. Fully in line and fully preserved, and there's not one thing that, of course, throughout my 14 years of being a Muslim, sometimes you will come across a Hadith and you think, whoa, what does that mean? And you might have a bit of a doubt because you don't know the understanding of it, or you don't know the context of it. And this is why you have to go and seek knowledge from the scholars, seek knowledge from people who understand. We can't just accept or deny something based on our own limited understanding. We have to accept the text as long as it's preserved and the scholars have accepted it. We accept it on face value. And the scholars, when I say the scholars, I don't just mean a scholar of today. I'm talking about 1400 years of scholarship. They will explain the meaning of the Hadith and the meaning of the the Quran. And how do they explain it? They explain it because the scholars before them told them, and it goes back to the companions of the Prophet Muhammad, it goes back to the students of the companions, and it goes back ultimately to the Prophet himself, who also explained the Quran in the Hadith. So it's not just like somebody can't come and start giving his own interpretation of the Quran and the Hadith. We have 1400 years of scholarship that has done that for us. And that's why when you say you're worried about corruption, yes, in some Muslim circles, some Muslim sects, there is corruption. There's some Muslims, like I mentioned, and you've mentioned yourself, you got a family from Senegal, you've witnessed it yourself.
My wife.
In these countries, there's Muslims who do the wrong thing. There's Muslims doing sihr. This clearly goes against Islam. But that's not Islam corrupt, that's the Muslims. That's the person who's claiming to be a Muslim. And how do we know he's corrupt? Because it goes against the Quran and the Sunnah. So as a Muslim, we have full conviction in, Allah. And the other thing I would say to you, Bobby, is this concept of Hadith, it is, for all intents and purposes, it is a secondary point. Because if you believe in Allah and you believe the Prophet Muhammad is a prophet and you believe the Quran is from Allah, you're not rejecting Hadith. You just don't have full knowledge and certainty on it because you've not researched it. The same way I don't have full knowledge and certainty. I don't have full knowledge about the tafsir of the Quran, which is a deep subject going into the details of the tafsir. I don't have full knowledge on the Sharia. I'm not studied, I'm not a student of law. But it doesn't mean I can't be a Muslim. It doesn't mean I'm not a Muslim because I'm ignorant of the Sharia or the details of it. Not everybody has to be a judge, or a Hadith scholar, or not everyone has to. You don't even know how to memorize, how to recite the Quran to be a Muslim. That's something that comes later. The fundamental points on Islam are, number one, believing in the correct understanding of God. And you have that. Number two, which is believing the Quran is from God. And I believe you have that. And ultimately, if you believe that, you have to believe Muhammad's a messenger because that's the way it came to us. So, one thing I would say, I wouldn't be right in coming on here and not, I know you're expecting it at some point, but I wouldn't be right for me to come on here and not invite you to Islam and not at least accept the Shahada for the knowledge that you have so far, because the knowledge that you currently have, number one, the concept of God is not going to change in Islam. And it's the only religion on the planet that has that concept. So if Islam isn't the truth, there's no religion on the planet. And if you think God left humanity with no religion, or he left over a quarter of the world's population on the correct religion currently, over a quarter of the world are Muslim. Over a quarter. Maybe even closer to a third, nearly. Right? So he's either left no religion or he's left the true religion and a quarter of the earth are following it. Right? And so the concept of God is not going to change. So your concept of God is in line with Islam. You believe the Quran is from God. I don't know, there shouldn't be anything to stop you taking Shahada, even knowing that you have more research to do. You have a lot more research to do. And someone like yourself who has intellect, you have knowledge, and you have a following, you have a lot of responsibility to do more research. We're not saying accept Islam and that's it. But at the same time, Bobby, it's got to be said. It's got to be said that I've got to go to the level of say it's not acceptable not to accept at the level of knowledge that you have. It's not acceptable. And I invite you to accept Islam, even if it is on on the current knowledge that you have, you know, declaring there's nothing worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad is the final messenger, and of course the Quran is from God, and that's a shahada. That brings you into the fold of Islam. That is the entrance. That's the ticket to Jannah. That's the ticket to paradise. That is the key.
You're putting me on the spot here, John.
I'm putting you on the spot because I love you for the sake of Allah, and I do believe that you're sincere. And realistically, you know, we wouldn't want you to reject it.
I fully understand. I said it on the Sheikh Uthman podcast, even though I'm really on the brink of screaming it out loud now because you're very, very convicting, I have to say. But at the same time, I would never do it online like this in my room here. It has to be in a mosque if I do it. But that being said, it is really something that you have to see in context. I have those beliefs. I agree with you. I cannot deny that. And I always speak my truth here on the channel. I'm not making a secret out of that. The only thing that I have to explain is my background. One more time.
Yes.
I'm an all or nothing guy. At least I have been. Through Islam, for the very first time, I've learned balance within my life.
Yeah.
It's something that I never had. Never. When I started bodybuilding with 16, I blew up to 120 kilograms. We just got kicked out one more time. 1 second, guys. We're going to be right back. Cliffhanger. What a cliffhanger, man.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. You know what, Bobby?
Hey.
You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say, you know, usually, like I would actually like you to take your shahada in a masjid. But I think that you actually owe it to every single one of your followers who have been following you day in, day out, liking, sharing, subscribing, backing you, answering your questions, supporting you. These brothers and sisters in these comments, they are your family. If you believe in Islam and you come to Islam, they are your brothers and sisters. They are stronger to you than blood. And I think that you owe it to them to do it in front of them, because they love you. All these people are currently making dua for you, screaming at the screen, making dua. They're making dua for you, in giving charity for you. They're making dua for you. There's things you don't know. There's people making dua in Mecca for you. There's people all over the world, these brothers and sisters, and it would be beautiful for you to just admit what you've already admitted, by the way. You've basically said the shahada in a roundabout way. You say, I believe in it. But you've not said it with intention of coming into the fold of Islam.
You're really putting me on the spot here yet again, John. And yes, it would be absolutely beautiful to give that back to the community, as I said. But if I do it in the mosque, I of course will share it here on YouTube as well. Everybody will get to see it too. I simply said that I don't want to do it on a stream, just by myself sitting in a room here ultimately, whilst my little kid is sleeping. So it's something that I would, if I do it, celebrate and make it official in a mosque. But again, I want to get back to my background and why I'm hesitant. I know some people will say it's the shaitan holding you back, etc., etc. Throughout my life, as I said, I've been so extreme. When I went into bodybuilding, I got so extreme that I ballooned up from 60 kilograms to 120 kilograms. So I doubled my weight. Okay, essentially, I put on another human being onto my body. I was lifting 300 kilograms, bench pressing, deadlifting, whatnot. I destroyed my joints with that, right? Then I got into martial arts. I tore so many muscles just because I couldn't stop myself. When I would go for something, I would go 100%. Every single time I was 100%, yet again, convinced. When I was into bodybuilding, I thought that only as a bodybuilder, you're doing what is right on this earth. I really thought that now we're taking our evolution into our own hands and we're modifying our own body, and this is the way to go, and everybody else is missing out. When I went vegan, I thought that I broke the matrix because everybody is eating flesh like vampires, and we realized that we're going to evolve out of this state by eating plants and soy drinks, right? And I thought this is the truth. And every single time this ideology got crushed. Listen, why that was is very simple. Because I found something and then I would jump right into it. That's it. I would find something, jump right in without any research. And then I would do my research whilst in it to then find out a few years later it's false, right? I'm not saying that about Islam. However, because I am taking my approach of actually leaning back and learning prior for the very first time in my life, my conviction will be so much stronger once I enter. Because I already went through the elimination process and I already went through the learning process. Of course, and this is something that I'm going to promise here, I'm not going to postpone it much longer. I gave myself a time limit, and this is something here official, you hear it for the first time. It's not going to last much longer. You mentioned it. Many people do reaction videos just for the sake of doing reaction videos. If I were not to convert in the next following 2 months or so, I'm stopping reaction videos altogether. And this is a promise.
Okay.
This is a promise 100%, okay? Because I cannot keep on going, just, hey, I'm going to research here, guys, learn with me. No chance. I am doing it, and I said that, maybe that sounds egoistical, but yes, I'm learning myself. This is why I watch those videos, and guess what? People like it as well, so we can do it together. Fantastic. But if I were not to take this so seriously and convert in the next 2 months or something, then it's done. I'm stopping it.
I'll tell you what, Bobby, I'm currently in Turkey.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're welcome. If you fancy coming to Turkey and coming to the mosque here, we have very big community here of English speakers. We have beautiful mosques. As you know, you've been before. Yes. You know, it's you've got a place to stay. You can stay with me. You know, you got a place to stay. If you're welcome to come. If you would like to come and do your shahada here in Turkey, you're welcome. You know, it's open for you. And it'll be beautiful. You know, we'd at least we know we'd have a community here to give you that welcoming when you come to Islam. I don't know what it's like where you're living now, if you have a strong Muslim community there, but certainly you're welcome. If you do want to come here, you're welcome. You're invited.
Thank you very much. It's actually quite beautiful here, and that's the beauty of YouTube as well, because right now we haven't seen each other on the street or something, but we connected, right? Through me making those reaction videos, you heard about me, and now we are in touch. Now I have an invite for Turkey, for example. Something similar happened here. A subscriber of mine wrote me, and he is actually from Palestine/Morocco. His parents are from Palestine and from Morocco. And he wrote me the comment section, we connected, and this is something new, people don't know that here either, he brought me to the mosque. We went to the Islamic Center even,
Mashallah.
Here in Thailand. It was the first time for me doing so.
That's great.
And it's a huge Islamic community. It's absolutely mind-blowing. What I noticed is something that I've never seen within Christianity, and that is simply the attendance. Because, yeah, sure, on Christmas you will have many people in the church, but what I saw last Friday, guys, was mind-blowing. The mosque was so big, full, and all the doors were open, and on the parking spots people were praying because it was so full. And that was just an average Friday. It was not a certain holiday or anything like that. So this was just mind-blowing, the attendance itself. So I spoiled it. I actually wanted to make a little video about that. But anyways, I went to the mosque with a subscriber of mine, and that is the beauty of YouTube. Because, yes, it's true. The community is so strong, and they really want the best for me. And thank God we have a amazing Muslim community here in Thailand.
The thing with the Muslims is they believe it. You know, they believe Islam. You know, the Christians, they either don't know about what they're supposed to believe, or the ones that do know about it, they can only have doubt. In fact, Allah tells us in the Quran regarding the crucifixion of Jesus and these things, all they have is conjecture.
Yep.
All they have is doubts. They don't have anything certain. You can never be certain about Christianity.
No.
You know, and the other side of Christianity is they literally just ignorant about the creed. And but as I said, another thing about Christians, I don't want to throw them under the bus, because a lot of them, I believe, Bobby, in the same situation as you and me, where they do believe in one God.
100%.
They might be labeled as Christian. They might call themselves Trinitarians or Christian, or they might even say Son of God and Jesus this. But deep down, if it comes to it and you start having a conversation with them, a lot of them believe in one God, and they're not actually Christian, as per the Christian creed.
As per the definition of the
I think,
Nicene Creed.
I think you'll agree with me on that as well. It's
I fully agree
a
with
lot of
you.
these Christians.
And this is why. So throughout me reacting to Islamic videos, many Christians told me, why do you even call yourself a Christian? The point of the story is, even when I researched Buddhism, Hinduism, etc., I never converted to Buddhism or Hinduism, right? But I researched it, I went to the temples, etc., etc., I meditated. But I always thought, okay, I'm just Christian, that's all I can be. That's how it felt from my upbringing. Again, on the Balkan, the identification is huge. So I thought that's all I can be. If I were a Turk, then I would be a Muslim. If I would be an Albanian, then I would be Muslim. But hey, I'm from Macedonia. That's all I can be. There's nothing else. That's how I thought back in the day. Of course, I think differently nowadays. And therefore, when I talked to my fellow Balkan people, nobody knew about the Trinity. Literally nobody that I talked to. Nobody. They knew about a saint that can do something for you, probably. They thought about Jesus maybe as the Son of God, but definitely not as God. My wife from Senegal, she's Christian, by the way. But even she doesn't believe that Jesus is God. She never knew that Jesus is supposed to be God. So I would even make a bold claim and say that maybe 80 to 90% of average Christians don't even know that. You see street interviews and whatnot, and they say, yeah, he's the Son of God. Nobody intuitively can think that Jesus is God, because there's already a multiplicity in place. We are talking about Jesus, we are talking about God, we are talking about the Father, and moreover, then we attribute, allegedly, a co-equality to those persons. The Father and the Son are equal. Man, I'm a father myself. On a human level, I already know that we are not co-equal. My son is 1 year old. How are we co-equal? It doesn't make any sense, right? Jesus says, only the Father knows. So if he says only the Father knows, by that statement, they're not co-equal, because the Father knows more. Done deal.
Yes.
Right? And therefore, I would say the same. 90% of Christians probably don't even know about it. But they see, they see Islam as an Arabic religion. It comes with a certain interface, if you will. I'm going to use that term. A certain interface.
Definitely.
And many simply would not resonate with it at first. For example, my sister, I talked to her. And she sees me, of course, reacting to Islamic content, etc. But she says, yeah, it's not for me. You know, I don't like this Arabic language. I don't like taking my shoes off and go to the mosque. I just don't like that. I'd rather wear my shoes and go into the church. You know? It's those little things that they seem... something foreign, something that's therefore not theirs.
Yes, Bobby, it's been a pleasure spending time with you, and I'm going to have to go quite shortly because Maghrib, the sunset prayer is very soon, and it's one of the prayers that is quite tight. There's not much time between the sunset prayer and the night prayer, so it's not something that can really delay that much. So I'm going to have to go very soon. But it's been a pleasure to speak to you, and I hope we can have another stream in the future.
Absolutely, man. I could talk to you forever. I thought you were going to stay back a little bit.
And I mean, it's been great, and we'll stay in touch online as well. You got my WhatsApp number. We can stay in touch. Definitely. And you know, I'd like to thank you for inviting me on. I hope you got some benefit. And
very much so.
You know, I'll keep following your journey. And you got 2 months.
2 months.
You got 2 months, man.
You have my word. Everybody here. No, for real.
Yeah.
You have my word.
Within 2 months. We're not in 2 months, but within 2 months, inshallah. And another thing, you know, as I said, you're welcome to Turkey anytime.
Thank you very
it'll
much,
be a
brother.
pleasure to host you and your family. Bring your family as well.
Course,
I have a place you can stay, no problem. It's private and everything. You have your own space with your family, so you're welcome. And
Thank you so
do
much.
do you speak any Wolof? Your wife is from.
My wife speaks Wolof.
Do you speak?
She
I
does.
speak a bit of Wolof.
No way.
Langadef.
Really? I
Ano
don't. I don't.
wakiki.
I don't. I haven't been there yet.
Speak
I
it.
haven't been there yet. Believe it or not. We still have to
You
go.
know, Senegal. I try and go. It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a beautiful country,
We're planning on
and the
going.
Senegalese people are some of the nicest people in the world. Subhanallah, amazing, amazing people, amazing culture, and amazing food as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Chebo
yeah.
yap, chebo jen, and all this beautiful food.
She cooks it for
So
me.
jazakallah khair. I'd like to thank everyone for coming on and supporting and listening. And I think I'll have to get going now, Bobby.
Thank you very much
Thanks a
for
lot
being
for
on,
that.
John. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon, okay? And you really put me on the
Okay.
spot, man. Like nobody else.
I had to.
You did, you
We
did.
have to do that.
You made me
know?
think.
It's
You made me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You made me think.
yeah. Okay, bro.
Thank you very much,
Speak
brother.
to you soon.
Speak to you soon.
Alright.
Bye bye. All right. Wow, that was something. Persistent. Absolutely amazing. He really made me think. I'm not just saying this. He gave me certain pointers there, especially when he said, would you believe that God would have left us without a religion? Very, very powerful. Unfortunately, John had to go now. We had a few super chats that I want to ask him, but the time wasn't enough to actually even discuss all the questions that I had for him. So we'll definitely have to have a part 2. That being said, let me jump into the super chats real quick and go through all of it. 1 second, guys. But what an amazing talk. Let's give him applause. Okay, here we go. Window is adjusted. Thank you so much, guys, for participating. We had a whopping 2,300 viewers here today. Sorry if my mic didn't work properly. I really tried to adjust it a billion times. I saw in the chat people said, hey, Bobby isn't really listening to John. No, not true at all. Of course I was listening, but I was trying to fiddle around with my mic settings so you guys can hear me better. This is what I was doing, but well, who cares, right? Anyways, this works now more or less. I hope you can hear me. Next time I will adjust my mic settings prior. Now let me jump into the super chats and the Streamlabs donations. 1 second, guys. We're gonna read them all out. As I said, it's a shame, of course, that John couldn't stay back a bit longer. Otherwise, we could have read them out together. That was the deal. But nevertheless, I'm going to read them out for you. And hopefully, I can answer a few of them. So let me see. Okay, they were mostly super chats. 1 second, guys. Let me just open up the window here. All right, we got it. Fantastic. Here we are. Okay. Okay, first we have May Allah guide you. Thank you very much. May He guide you too. That comes from Haytharn Medather. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Then we have Zaf Abbas, who says, Assalamu alaikum, brother John Fontaine. I hope John will watch this. I met you in Malaysia, 2015. I may have said something that disturbed you, and I would like to apologize. So I hope that John will hear this. This comes from Zaf Abbas. Then we have Do It Your Own Way. Thank you very much for the donation. Who says, if the people love you for the sake of Allah, Allah loves you more. Allah will send His command, the angels, to love you too. Beautiful. Thank you very much. All I can say is much love back, of course. Fawad Shah donated 100 Indonesian rupiah, I believe. Nice. Greetings to Indonesia. Keep up the good work. Only the one who seeks knowledge acquires it. Hope you find your solace in Islam, inshallah. Inshallah. Thank you very much. The Great donated 50 sek. Greetings from a Macedonian convert to Islam. Pozdrav, brate. Greetings. Thank you very much. Nur Hamade donated 7 Canadian dollars. I echo that. Much respect and love to your faithful heart. MashaAllah. Thank you very much. Guys, we're getting many new members here, many new subscriptions. Thank you so much for your support. Absolutely amazing. I really have to say this was such a fantastic talk, and it made me appreciate doing live streams with guests again. So I'm gonna try to stay on this pace, and next week, in case you're watching, brother, I would like to have the Aussie Muslim on. He's been a convert for a few years himself from Australia. So this will be a talk about his journey to Islam next Sunday, God willing. And on that pace, I will try to bring in as many guests as possible in the next 2 months. I am learning. How are you doing? Donated 6 MYR. John joined Dr. Sabil, Yusuf Estes, or Mufti Menk. I hope he hears this. Peace World donated $2. Thank you very much. Alhamdulillah. Welcome, great Sheikh. Thanks, Bobby. I don't think he's a Sheikh. Thank you very much. I don't think he's a Sheikh himself. But we didn't even talk about music, man. We want to talk about music. So much more to talk about. God willing, we will have him on soon, again. Thank you very much for becoming members, guys. I really appreciate it. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. I am learning says, Bobby, go to mosque with John, face to face. Would be absolutely amazing. Thank you very much, guys. Would be absolutely amazing. I will just have to try to figure everything out prior to that, because since yesterday, Thailand changed its immigration policies. And I'm gonna try to say it here. I cannot really go into detail because of the community guidelines. You need a certain thing to enter the country, ideally 3 of them, and I do not have that. So, yeah, that's why I'm kind of bound to this place for now. I will see what I can do. We have a super sticker for $10 by Buchmut. Thank you very much, brother. And another super chat by him saying, ask about Abu Talib's story, please. Sorry, brother. As I said, unfortunately, John had to leave. He has to pray, which is absolutely understandable and, of course, honorable as well. There's something that I appreciate about Islam so much, the discipline that you otherwise just find in bodybuilding. Really, in bodybuilding, you have to eat every 2 hours. In Islam, you have to pray 5 times. And this is something that you will never find in any other religions. Absolutely amazing. I appreciate the discipline. And we had a Streamlabs donation as well, I believe. By... oh, wait a second, I have to scroll down. By Abdullah Alk, and he says the Shahada for $10. Brother, even though it's a super chat, I of course cannot just say it. As I mentioned before, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it in a mosque. I'm gonna make it official, of course. Right now I'm sitting just in my room here, right next to me. My little kid is sleeping, so this is just not the environment for me. This is such a big deal that I cannot just say it like so. Even though he put me on the spot. Thank you very much, Abdullah. And we have another super chat by Abdullah. Thank you again. And it says, it is not acceptable for you not to accept Islam with the information you have. I will send you this quote every week, inshallah. Man, again, I've never been so cornered, so pressured. I appreciate it. He was a man of conviction on the stream, and I have huge respect for that. Captain's Corner donated 3 Australian dollars. Thank you very much. Pozdrav Bucka. Pozdrav Bucko. Thank you very much, fella. Newbies Kobe's Gamer donated 15 MIR. I think that's Malaysian rupee, right? I'm not too sure. We will see Bobby's tears of joy soon, guys, in 2 months. Salam from Malaysia, exactly. Salam, brother. Mohammed Abu Ahmad, weekend member. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. This is absolutely overwhelming, man. Overwhelming. Thank you, guys. I'm gonna hang back with you guys a bit longer before I tune out. Thank you so much for being here. Crazy, man. We had 2,300 people watching. What's that about? That's crazy, man. Thank you very much for becoming a member, Mohammed. I appreciate it, brother. Welcome, welcome. Mr. T donated $5 through Super Chat. Continue listening to the Quran. Omar, thank you again.
compassion.
Omar Hisham El Arabi is a great reciter to listen to. Yes, I'm subscribed. He has a great YouTube channel. I'm subscribed. I love the Rukia coming in.
Let's create a bright green future where
Thank you,
we
guys.
all feel compassion.
Jeff Muesta donated $10 through Super Chat. Thank you so much, Jeff. Appreciate it, brother.
Let's create a bright green future where we all feel compassion.
Malik donated $150, says, I can imagine you taking your Shahada with Dr. Zakir Naik. That would be iconic. Yeah, it would be pretty epic, but I have to say I'm not such a Zakir Naik
Let's
fanboy.
create a
I like it.
green future where we all feel
Let me tone this down. Thank you very much, guys. It's absolutely amazing. So, as I was saying, I like Dr. Zakir Naik, but it's not as if I'm such a huge fanboy. It doesn't have to be with him necessarily. Yusuf donated $10. Thank you very much. Yusuf, just want to say Assalamu alaikum, brother. Love from Palestine. Much love to Palestine. Free Palestine. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate it. Alaikum salam. Betul has become a member. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I appreciate it. So many new members, man. So much support. Absolutely insane. Thank you, guys. There is the super chat. Let me just double check. I need two windows here because the Streamlabs donations and the super chats are coming in from both sides. Let me double check. Okay, let me see. Dalak member donated 24 Malaysian. Is it the rupee? I think so. Thank you very much. Wow, this is going insane here. Ayub Hassan donated £2. Thank you very much, Ayub. Please react to the prophets on Judgment Day. I will react to the whole prophet series, brother. So we will come to that as well. Thank you very much. Rahil Hussein donated 80 pennies. Thank you very much. Guys, I always say that no matter how big or small the donation, people always say, oh, you just do it for the money. Guys, check it out. 2,300 people watching. Do you really believe that I can read out every single question within the chat? Honestly, even if I wanted to, it's impossible. So as you can see here, Rahil donated not even $1, and I think anybody can do that. Everybody has at least $1 in their pockets, I believe. With that, I will see your question. That's what it's about. And of course you can support the channel. Thank you very much for that. But it is an impossibility for me to go through the chat and read all the questions. How would I do that? So thank you very much, Rahil. I appreciate the support. Anas Gaming donated £2, says Hadith is a revelation and God has preserved it. Thank you very much. And this was my suspicion, so to speak. And I said, hey, only the Quran is preserved. How can I trust the Hadith? So John definitely went into depth there. I would have to research it myself. I really appreciate that he told me about it, and what I am kind of envious of, if you will, is the conviction that he has there, because he has researched it himself. I will have to do the same. Lily says, what points do you already agree with in Islam? Okay, which points do I agree with? First and foremost, God is one. That's the main point that I agree with. Other than that, God sent prophets. Sure, I agree with that as well. Don't eat pork. I agree with that as well. Thank you so much, guys. For the people that are tuning in and they're wondering why I have such a silly song here, this is actually back from the vegan days. It's sarcasm. I do not like this song. We were making kind of fun of this rapper. Let me tone this down. Of this rapper. And this is why I used this here. It was just for fun, for the sake of sarcasm. I believe at some point I will have to change that. Because people won't get it anymore. But yeah, 2 years ago it was cool. Anyways, that being said, yeah, I don't agree with eating pork. So I agree with the point of not eating pork within Islam. And the other points basically you find within Christianity as well. So no premarital sex, no degeneracy. Let me tune this down. No alcohol, etc., etc. So I agree with most of it. Music, even though I'm really not the music guy, listening to John here, he was a musician. I rarely listen to music, man. I like my intro, I like the 8-bit music. I really appreciate it. Once per week, sue me. But yeah, that's maybe something where I'm on the fence on about. Because, let's face it, 99.99999% of music is degenerate and leads to the issue that we're having right now. So I understand to say, cut it off, makes sense on some level. But at the same time, I personally can't find anything wrong with certain music, right? And I'm not gonna give you the whole classical music spiel because I'm not really listening to classical music, but certain instrumental music is really beautiful and doesn't lead me to anything further other than enjoying a moment of music. But again, I understand the danger of music, therefore I'm not disagreeing with it to be very cautious about, but to totally outlaw it, ban it completely, it's something that I maybe not agree fully with. Yeah. Okay, let me double check. Lily says I missed her question. We're getting so many super chats. Thank you so much, guys. I'm trying to answer to all of you. I hope I'm not gonna miss anything. Let me double and triple and quadruple check. Where we at?
Let's create a bright, green future where we all feel compassion.
Okay. Abdullah Alk donated $5. Thank you very much, Abdullah. He is one of the biggest supporters of the stream. Thank you so much, brother. Sent you a video on email showing fitra. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the music for now, guys. Thank you very much. It's amazing, but I have to turn it down, otherwise I'm gonna get sidetracked. So Abdullah says, I sent you a video on email showing fitra of a little girl on display. Absolutely amazing. I'm going to double check and then, God willing, react to it. Thank you very much, Abdullah. Ash donated for SAR through Super Chat. Thank you very much. I'm going to check if there is a question attached to it. Let me double check. One second, guys. And we have more super chats. This is absolutely insane. Ash. Just a super sticker. Thank you very much for the super sticker. Appreciate it, Ash. Thank you. Nikolaos Katsilas donated €2 through super chat. Can you call apostate prophet to talk about Islam? Honestly, maybe someday. As for right now, maybe it would be good to have him on. Genuinely. And if anybody wants to send this to him, genuinely, respectfully, I really mean this, I will talk to him even though he conducts himself not so respectfully. And me, as a non-Muslim, but nevertheless, I simply dislike it when people are disrespectful towards religion in general. I don't like it. I'm not disrespectful towards Hinduism or the Jehovah's Witnesses or whatnot, only because I disagree with it. And therefore, I would like to see some more respect coming from such people. But nevertheless, I'm still going to conduct myself respectfully. If you would like to come on the show and simply discuss Islam or theism and atheism itself, I believe that would be a nice discussion to have. He's definitely invited. And yet again, I promise, absolutely respectful discussion from my side. 100%. Would be cool to have him on. Okay. Lily donated $5. Missed my question. What points do you already agree with in Islam? But I just did. Also, best wishes in your journey wherever it takes you. Thank you so much, Lily. Again for the super chat, but I already answered that. So I agree with most things. I agree with covering as well. Yeah. Most things. There's certain hadiths, I want to talk about that as well. We didn't come to it, that I find a bit strange. For example, there is a hadith where you should kill the house gecko with a rock. So I just found that strange, for example. There are certain details in Islam that I'm wondering about. Isa Mohammed donated 25 SRR. Islam came from the Middle East. I'm wondering from where Christianity came from. Good question, right? Yeah, it came from the same place, of course. Esmedin Patkovic donated $10. Thank you so much, Esmedin. Salam, brother. Much love, brother. Salam. I'm from Bosnia. I could tell by the name, bro. and your story resonates with many in the area. No matter what religion, our traditions and cultures in Balkan takes over and we forget our purpose. Best wishes. Absolutely, brother. On the Balkan, unfortunately, we have this nationalism, and unfortunately, we cannot be one people. I already talked about this so many times. For me, it's heartbreaking because if I look at a country such as Germany or France, man, they're as big as the whole Balkan, right? But on the Balkan, we always fight each other. We went to war with each other. And we see each other as so different because certain nationalistic ideologies based upon specific people. Oh, Alexander the Great. Oh, be it Tsar, whatever, Kral, etc. I always forget their names. But the point of the story is that, like that, Bosnians see themselves as something different from the Serbs. And of course, rightfully so, I understand. There was a huge war. But nevertheless, I say that we are the same people. Of course we are the same people. If France is the same people, then the Balkan is the same people as well. There is no difference between me and a Bosnian. I cannot see the difference, brother. Okay. Thank you very much for the donation, brother. Now let me proceed. Wow, so many questions. Thank you so much, guys. Really, I'm trying to hang back as much as I can here. Thank you. Asfar Asland donated 6 mir, says, Bobby, react to motivational story of Imam Bukhari. Yeah, that's cool, man. Thank you very much, brother. Absolutely. Let me save this. I'm gonna save it right now. I'm gonna save it right now. Just give me a second. Man, such a great talk with John. I really have to say this one more time. It has been a while since I had a talk like this on this channel. It was amazing. Such a great guest. I really hope you enjoyed it, guys. If so, thumbs up, share the video. Okay. Just 1 second. Let me just save this to my playlist. And then we continue with the super chats and the Streamlabs donations. Again, thank you so much for all the support. Okay, story of Imam Bukhari. Can't find it. Wait a second. Motivational story of Imam Bukhari. The genius motivating story of Imam al-Bukhari. I'm very ignorant on the topic, man. We didn't get to talk about it. But this is really how I went through my journey with Islam. Coming from absolute ignorance, arrogance, bias, and then slowly but surely stripping those shades away like an onion. And finding out so much that I at first discarded and saw as negative and evil and whatnot. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Again, let me give you an applause. 1 second. Here we go.
We all feel compassion.
This song. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Z donated $5. Thank you very much, Z. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. Alaikum salam. Faisal donated $1. Bobby, I know you're pressured into Shahada, but I believe you still can do it for yourself, at least not publicly, and continue your journey to even more. Guys, I'm not the type of guy that keeps secrets. I'm really not. And I know many of people don't believe it, and they call me disingenuous. You're in it for the money and whatnot. I really don't care, man.
Let's
You can
create
say
a
what you want.
bright,
God knows
future
my
where
heart,
we
that is
all
for sure. And the point of the story is, even when I was a vegan and then went ex-vegan, man, the vegans, they were telling me I'm lying about veganism, such a traitor and whatnot. I already went through this when I went into the political movement of Macedonism, and I talked about the reality of the Balkans and about the history of Macedonia and the history of Bulgaria. People again called me a liar. You're paid by the governments. You're taking money. Guys, this is not the first time. This is not my first rodeo, as they say. So therefore, no worries. Call me what you want, man. God knows me exactly. So I don't care for your opinion. If you think I'm disingenuous, go for it. Up to you. I really couldn't care less. The point of the story is I see that people here, they support me. They really believe in this message. And it's absolutely amazing to see. Therefore, for me personally, man, again, if I would do it in my private spare time, the Shahada that is, no, I will tell you right away. Honestly, I couldn't keep it as a secret. I don't operate that way. If I find something that I find interesting, I talk about it. That's it. That's literally what Bobby's Perspective always has been about. And this way so many people hate it as well. Because I always find something, I like it, and then I talk about it. And people wonder, how can you talk about it? How can you? Why would you? Because it's called Bobby's Perspective. So if you don't like it, you don't have to watch the channel. It's so simple, man. But anyways, so yeah, thanks for the super chat. If I would do it privately by myself, I would just tell you. I would record a video and say, hey, yesterday I took the Shahada privately. That's it. But that's why I personally find it a big deal. For me, this is the biggest deal of my life. Genuinely, there's nothing bigger for me personally. And that's why if I do it, I will do it in mosque. And if not, then I'm stopping with reaction videos. And I really mean this. And it's done. I couldn't care less. Okay. Thank you very much, Faisal. NASA, thank you very much. Peace be upon you and family from Malaysia. Thank you very much. Peace be upon you and your family too. I would really love to go back to Malaysia. And we are actually planning on going to Malaysia, man. But then this whole mess happened here that we cannot go back into the country without the certificate, if you know what I mean. And yeah, now I'm kind of stuck here. I hope. Esmedin Patkovic donated again. Thank you very much, Esmedin. I had a friend back in the day in Germany. He was Bosnian in the kindergarten. So to call him a friend is maybe a little bit much. But his name was Almadin. Yeah. I remember him. Esmedin sounds very similar. Bobby, you are very gifted, brother. Your ability to explain and logic will help others. You may be doing dawah without knowing it. Best wishes if you ever get the chance to visit Bosnia. It's worth it. I would really love to, man. Honestly, this summer, last summer, 2022, I went to Macedonia very, very quickly. And because my kid is still so small, I couldn't travel around much, but I really wanted to go to Bosnia. A site of Islam, I actually want to visit the Bosnian pyramids as well. So, yeah, God willing, maybe next summer. We will see. It would be amazing. About the rest, this is mind-blowing to me as well. I've been contacted by so many Muslims that tell me that they learned about Islam through me, which is something that I never believed in a million years to hear. You can believe me that. So I was so anti-Islam, hated Islam. I never believed that, yeah, anybody will learn something about Islam from me. It's so crazy to me to this very day. Yusuf donated $5. I really love the experience. I know thee. It's a masterpiece. Okay, I'm gonna Google that. 1 second. The experience. Why doesn't it copy? Is it a YouTube video or is it something else? It's a masterpiece. Okay, let me see. 1 second, I'm Googling this. The experience Ainudi. We have Ludovico Ainudi. Experience. Ah, that's music. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely save that. Huh. I already see that I'm gonna like this, for sure. Yeah. Definitely. This is my style, man. I really like disco. I like synthwave, 80s music, retro wave, things like that. So you have to be patient with me, guys. Even if I convert, I'm not gonna remove my intro right away. I don't think so. But hey, maybe at some point. Anyways. Thank you so much, guys, again. It's absolutely amazing, man. Okay. So many new super chats. This is crazy. Thank you. Applause again. Here it is. Applause, applause. Thank you very much. Where are we at? Okay. Hesham Mothman donated $3. Thank you. Please do a reaction on the full debate from Ahmed Didat from Palestine. Love from Palestine, Sydney. G'day, mate, to Sydney and Free Palestine, of course. The full debate, I'm not going to be able to do that, bro, because if I react to a 3-minute video, my video ends up being 20 minutes, right? So if I would react to a 2-hour video, my reaction would be, I don't know, a week. So I cannot react to a full debate, brother. But thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Ahmed Bilal donated 8 SAR through super chat. Thank you very much. Let me see if you attached a... There it is. A mic. Yeah, man, I need a new mic. Thank you very much. This thing is supposed to be good. You see it? Like so. It's supposed to be good, but no, somehow I didn't really do a good job today. Must be my computer settings. But thank you very much, brother. I appreciate it. Okay.
Let's create a bright, green future where we all feel compassion.
Rahil Hussein donated £450. Thank you very much. Salam, Bobby. Salam. The only guarantee in life we have is death. I fully agree. We don't know when it will come to us. Don't delay unnecessarily, inshallah. Most definitely not unnecessary, brother. This I'm going to promise you. I know myself. I know my psychology. This is why it takes so much time. Honestly. Otherwise, I would just accept it. That's it. I know my past and I cannot jump into something just to then get out of it again. Believe me, for the sake of you as well. You want me to be convicted. You do not want Bobby's Perspective to be an ex-Muslim. That would be terrible. So therefore, give me my time and God willing. Ahmed Bilal donated $8 through Super Chat. Thank you very much. May Allah guide you to the straight path. Might He guide us all to the straight path. Thank you very much, bro. Aussie Muslim, there he is. 10 Aussie dollars. Thank you very much, brother. Bro, I googled how to become Muslim. Said Shahada in my room. Lol. Family had no idea. Alhamdulillah, everyone's journey is different. That's true. Check out new upload reciting Baqarah. Voice not great, but for dawah. Brother, you have my invitation. Next Sunday, same time, let's do it. Aussie Muslim, next Sunday we're going to talk about your story. Would love to have you on, and then you can tell us about the Shahada in your room.
Let's create a bright, green future where we all feel compassion.
Turkish Muslim donated $3. Hi Bobby brother, I really hope that you revert to Islam. You will feel so good, inshallah. God willing, brother. I hope so. Thank you very much for your support, man. Puchal donated 100 rupiah. Thank you very much. I believe you're seeking truth. Yes. May Allah make it easy for you after taking Shahada. Love from Kashmir. Always welcome here as my guest of honor. Free. Thank you very much, brother. Would love to visit, man. Would love to go to Kashmir. Have never been. Would love to go to many Southeast Asian countries that I've never been. Up until now, I visited Thailand, obviously. Malaysia, absolutely amazing. But it has been, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years, something on those lines. And I've been to Indonesia and to Vietnam. Wait a second, there was something else as well. To Burma just for a visa run. And I believe that's it. Yeah, that's about it. I have to do some more traveling, man. Thank you very much, guys. Joshko Kraken donated 10 Canadian dollars. Hrvat here. Pozdrav, bok. Gledam svaki video. I'm with you, brother. Hvala lijepo, brate. Yeah, thank you very much, brother. Greetings to Canada. Greetings to a brother here. He says he watches every video. It's absolutely unbelievable because Croatians, Hrvati, they're Catholics. It's quite interesting. The way that I would describe Croatians, they are, I know you're gonna hate me, like Serbians that are infused with an Italian way of life. You say pomidori, for example, instead of patlijan, right? So you then have tomato, you don't say the same word for tomatoes. And the way that you speak is so melodic, very similar to Italian. It's, for me, like a Serbian talking through an Italian accent. It's very beautiful. I had a fantastic time in my teens over there in Croatia. I had my summer love over there. It was really, really amazing times. But that being said, I always wish for a Balkan union. I always wish for us people to unite. And I don't think Christianity will do it, unfortunately. Honestly, if you look at the Balkan, Islam would fix those issues as well. The biggest issue on the Balkan is alcoholism and unemployment. Really. And I really believe that if Islam would have come to us differently, rather than the Ottoman Empire, people would have perceived it differently as well. And like so, who knows, maybe we could have gotten rid of that curse of nationalism on the Balkan, where the Serb thinks he's so different than the Bosniaks and the Croatians. I see the threat coming from the Serbians, not anymore. But back in the day, in history, it was definitely coming from Serbia, because Serbians saw themselves as superior, as different. This is where
Let's
this hate
create
came
a
from.
bright,
So I
free
realized that
future
they have to
where
say.
we all feel compassion.
Lily donated $5 again. Thank you very much, Lily. She says, you made my own faith stronger. Thank you. And this is yet again mind-blowing to me. Do you believe in the miracles Islam mentions to be true? Do you worry about following extreme examples? That's a fantastic question. So about the miracles themselves, let me put it this way. I am not a person that puts his faith into historical claims. Okay? So Moses splitting the sea. Sure, we accept it. Right? So now Muhammad splitting the moon. Sure, we can accept it. But will I really know and will I base my belief upon that? No. Definitely not. Never will. So I will accept miracles of God, of course, as a believer, but at the same time I'm not going to base my belief in it as a foundation, because this is the stark difference to Christianity. Christianity, the core belief, is a historical claim. It is about Jesus' resurrection, that he rose from the dead, which is essentially a miracle, right? And therefore, to base my faith upon that, I wasn't there. And this is not me being arrogant. I really wasn't there. That's just realistic. So therefore I can't know. But when it comes down to a claim that God is one, sign me up. About following extreme examples, yes, and this is something that I want to ask John as well, because he was so convinced about Islam being preserved and that everything essentially from Quran to Hadith, you cannot misinterpret it, it is crystal clear, etc., etc. And as I said, I really envy his conviction there. But for me personally, when I see certain extremists coming from Salafi schools, for example, in Germany, about terrorism, etc., and I compare that to other schools of thought, then of course I have to think to myself, which one is true? Which one is the real Islam here? Right? Should I pack my bags and go to jihad? What is the real Islam here? And this is why I still have a bit of searching to do, because ultimately, when it comes down to monotheism, sure, sign me up, man. I'm a monotheist anyways, as it is. Fair enough. But when it comes down to certain interpretations of Islam that then lead to violence, potentially, then of course I have to wonder still. And I have to say, is this part of the deal? Is this part of the package? Or is this a interpretation that I certainly do not have to follow? Right? So, yeah, this is where I'm at right now. I'm kind of comparing the madhabs. I'm comparing the schools of thought, trying to understand what the reality of things is. Okay. Let me go further. Thank you very much again, Lily. Jaguar King, good to see you, brother. Donated $10 through Super Chat. Thank you very much. No question attached. Mohanat Al-Shafi donated 2,000 Jod. I don't really know what that is, but thank you very much for the donation. We had a very generous donation of $50, but somehow I do not see it. 1 second, I'm gonna answer all of you guys, even if it takes a bit longer. But first, Mohanad, react to the genius of Islam from Muslim skeptic. I already did, brother. Sometimes, guys, don't be that lazy, huh? People, they tell me, hey, bro, react to this and that. All you have to do is type Bobby's perspective and then the video that you want me to react to, just to double check if I already reacted. Because I already did. To the Muslim skeptic we already did, and we're gonna, God willing, react to the second episode maybe in a week or two. Yeah, but definitely, I'm doing the whole series, it's just 3 parts. Thank you very much. Let me just double check here. Because we had a $50 super chat, I saw that pop up, and then it was gone. Here we are. Sorry, I should have read this out a bit earlier. We kind of skipped forth. By Hupo, $50, the biggest donation of tonight. Thank you so much, Hupo. As an all or nothing person, do Islam 100% with the understanding that Islam is moderation. Brother, such a good point. This is literally what I'm learning about right now. That will be your challenge, and you can't perfect it before entering the faith. Islam is a lifelong journey. Absolutely amazing. I'm going to give you an extra applause for that. Thank you so much. I hope you can hear this. It's a bit quiet, eh? This is such a valid point, so thank you very much for your generous donation, but moreover, thank you very much for your comment, because this is literally where I'm at right now. As I said, I was an all-or-nothing person, absolutely extreme, and for the very first time in my life, I'm learning moderation and balance through Islam. Something that I thought is so extreme. I thought that Islam is all or nothing, an absolute extreme religion. And now I'm finding out that it is essentially balanced. I learned that, or I heard that for the first time through Imam Tom. What a great conversation we had. I hope you're going to check that out as well, guys. It's on his channel, Imam Tom and Bobby's Perspective. Yeah, this is what I'm struggling with. I always was an extremist. I always had to do 100%, 100,000%. So this is something that I'm really struggling with. So thank you very much for the reminder, brother. 450 by this Arabic. Unfortunately, I cannot read it. I'm learning. Thank you very much for the 450 pounds. I ask Allah, Lord of the worlds, to guide you to the path of truth. Inshallah. Thank you very much. May He guide you too. I appreciate it. Michael donated 17 krona. Thank you very much. Michael, appreciate it. I hope I answered all of those super chats down here. I think so. Let me make extra sure. Okay, 1 second, guys. I'm just scrolling through. I want to make sure that I'm going to answer all the super chats. Thank you very much, Jaguar King, for the 10 Canadian dollars. Appreciate it. Abu Aisha, we have 10 pounds. Thank you so much for the generous donation. I'm going to Mecca for the Umrah. I continue to pray for you, but will make a special prayer for you once I'm at the Haram, holy sanctuary. And not to be confused with Haram, forbidden. Ah, gotcha. Hey, thank you so much for your prayers. Keep me in your prayers as well, guys, for my health. Lately I've been researching many different things because I have the long, you don't want to name it here on YouTube, symptoms. I call it long Kurat's symptoms. Yeah, and it has been 6 months that I've been struggling with my health. I can't really train, can't go to the gym, etc., etc. I don't want to complain, thank God. I can still work and provide for my family. That's the most important thing. But if you want to keep me in your prayers and wish me good health, that would be appreciated. Thank you so much. Asfar Asland donated 15 Malaysian rupiah. Imam Bukhari is a true genius. He is the closest thing to a superhero on this earth. I believe you will get a brief idea of the science of Hadith. That's really amazing, man, because I'm so biased, bro. I simply heard the opinion of the Quranists that said ultimately Bukhari was a Persian and he was against Islam and he wanted to infiltrate Islam and therefore he changed certain hadiths to make Islam look bad and whatnot. So this is what I heard and therefore I was so biased. Not saying that this is true, not saying that I'm accepting it. But man, we are unfortunately susceptible to such things when we hear them. And I heard that and it's still in the back of my mind. So therefore I have to research more about Imam Bukhari. I'm definitely going to react, God willing, to videos about Imam Bukhari. Thank you very much for the super chats, guys. Now, let me get back to the Streamlabs donations. Here we are. So many viewers today. So much support. Thank you so much, guys. Honestly, it's absolutely amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I really mean this. It's amazing. Okay, we have the biggest donation of tonight by Saikhan, who donated a whopping $100. Thank you so much, Saikhan, for donating $100 and with that beating the last major super chat of $50, stepping it up to $100. Thank you so much. And he says, great conversation today. May you accept Islam soon, inshallah. Please come visit us in Dallas, Texas. That's absolutely unbelievable to hear this, man. Dallas, Texas. Believe it or not, when I was bodybuilding, Texas was the place that I wanted to visit. Ronnie Coleman came from Texas, Arlington, Texas, and all he was doing is lifting weights and then go to steakhouses and eat. And I always wanted to do the same. I know it's very basic. I was 19 at that time, but this was my biggest wish, to come to Texas at some point. Texas and California. But throughout my journey, traveling the world, America just got on the back burner, and then after a while I just forgot about it. Actually got a very negative perception of America because of their foreign policies, and to be quite frank, their own policies as well. It's absolutely disgusting, to be honest, what is happening with liberal America at the moment. But I don't want to judge it from the outside either, and I would love to visit someday. God willing, someday I will make it to America. I only went to South America as a teenager, as I said. Since I'm doing bodybuilding, even back in the day when I was watching Arnold Schwarzenegger as a kid, I always wanted to make it to America, but I never made it. So God was keeping that away from me for a good reason, I believe. And at some point, God willing, I will make it over there. Thank you very much for your invitation, brother. Once I start traveling again, I'm going to tell you guys, of course, and then we can meet up. I did the same here, as I said, in Thailand. Has been amazing. Made a very good friend. And again, brother, Saihan, thank you very much for the $100. Appreciate it, bro.
Let's create a bright green future where we
Asfar Aslan donated 15 Mirna, we had that already. Thank you very much again. Newbies Kobe's Gamer donated 15 Malaysian rupee again. Thank you very much. And says react to Surah Rahman in full by Sheikh Mishari Rashid El Afasi. Okay, let me save this. The reason people ask me, why don't you react to surahs of the Quran? Guys, they get demonetized, right? And now this is an opportunity for you to scream again. You only make it for the money. You only do it for the money. Guys, the reason why I don't want to react is not because they're demonetized and that's that. Otherwise I would just shut off the monetization and that's it. No worries, really, not one bit. The issue is that Salam Network, apparently a TV station, Salam Network, copyrighted 99% of the Quran recitations. I don't know how they did it. I find it hideous. I find it absolutely disgusting that they were allowed to do that. And therefore, they get money if I react to the surahs of the Quran. Salam Network. And moreover, if you get those strikes, those demonetizations, YouTube shoves you down the algorithm again. So they're gonna have another reason to delete this channel. I'm already on thin ice. I had so many strikes. And this is why I don't do it. It's absolutely pathetic. So as you can see, the devil is working even through YouTube. Like that, we can't even react to Quran. It's absolutely unbelievable. Right? But yeah, I'm really trying to. If anybody knows recitations that won't get copyright strike, that would be absolutely fantastic, because no, I don't want Salam Network to profit. I find it absolutely repulsive and shows that they have no moral character whatsoever. Who will copyright Quran surahs? Disgusting. Really. Be ashamed of yourself, Salam Network. Disgusting.
Let's create a bright green future where we all feel compassion.
Okay, thank you very much again, guys. I saved it to the playlist. I cannot promise it, but I will try. Majilindi donated $1. Thank you very much, Majilindi. Salam, Bobby, from your neighbor from Kosovo. Salam, brother. Much love to Kosovo, man. Yusuf donated $6. I wish you knew Arabic when I would suggest to you to watch Dr. Adnan Ibrahim lessons. Absolutely amazing. Brother, I'm learning Arabic, believe it or not. That's what I'm saying. People think I'm just joking here, just fun. I never did anything like this in my life. Before I even considered to convert to Islam, I already started learning about Islam and started learning Arabic. Right? So I'm really serious about this subject. When it comes down to God, I'm not joking. So I really appreciate it when John saw that as well. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you for that again, John. Thank you, Yusuf. Didi donated 150 SGD through Super Chat. Thank you very much, Didi. Appreciate it. Do we have a sticker or anything that I haven't seen? 1 second. Just 1 second. No sticker. But thank you very much, Didi. Appreciate it. Elias donated 10 euros. Thank you. He says, you are now a Muslim. Shahada is to introduce people to your Islam and to witness them to that. But God says in the Quran that He, God, is the best of witnesses and God knows what's in your heart. There you go. Again, when it comes down to monotheism, guys, I cannot deny that. And I don't want to deny that, quite the opposite. I'm actually proud of that and happy about that, that God made me a monotheist. He could have made me an atheist. Could have made me whatever, a polytheist. So I never was that. Thank God. Since a kid, always have been a monotheist. Throughout Christianity, trying to learn it, always have been a monotheist. Thank you very much, Elias. Murad Musa donated 10 BYN. Abraham's people threw him into the fire, so he stops preaching about God. In a hadith it says, the gecko, alone among earth's creatures, didn't try to put out the fire, instead blew on it to increase it. Okay? But you can understand that for me, just hearing that, it's a bit strange, for sure. I don't really know what it means. But thank you very much for the notification. Aziz donated $10. Thank you very much, Aziz. Appreciate it, brother. The Brave Muslim donated $10 through Super Chat. Greetings, Bobby. Hope you are well. Well enough, brother. Thank you very much. Thank God. Want to say about Amazon Jungle experience. Maybe Allah knows best. The evil Jinn wanted to misguide you away from Islam. So when you made cross, he tricked you. That could very well be, brother. We can never know, right? For me personally, it was just the only thing that I associated with God. And culturally, I declared that I don't want to be part of that shamanism any longer. And I want to return to praising God alone. That was it. And we have another whopping super chat that puts the others to shame here. Wasfe Musheinesh. Wasfe Musheinesh. I'm certain that I mispronounced that. $200. Wow. And no question attached. Absolutely unbelievable by Wasfe Musheinesh. The biggest donation of tonight. $200. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate that, man. This is absolutely mind-boggling yet again. Honestly, I said it before, but I have to repeat this. I never thought that I'm going to get such a support from the Muslim community. And you guys are forgiving, man. Because ultimately, I said it here on this channel as well, I hated Islam. God forgive me. But I hated it with a vengeance. I only read the Quran because I wanted to debunk Islam. Truly. That was my evil intention behind it. So to see then you guys supporting me is truly humbling, man. Absolutely unbelievable. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Really. I can't put it into words, to be totally honest. Thank you so much. May God bless you, brother. Thank you for your generous donation. Lily donated $2 and says, what do you know about halal food? So first and foremost, it's crazy. Here in Thailand, most of the food is halal. Most of it, not all, of course. Because they're cooking with pork, etc., etc. But if you go to the supermarket, you can just find pretty much 90% of chicken being halal. And beef, they don't even have much beef. So almost 100% being halal. It's absolutely unbelievable. So what do I know about halal food? I reacted to a halal slaughter video. I would make the claim that, of course, we cannot rely upon it and say that therefore everything that is halal is automatically well raised and well slaughtered. Unfortunately, in this day and age, mass production, so not everything that is halal is truly beautifully done, as the guy on his farm. But yeah, I know that it's slaughtered in the name of God, so Bismillah before you slaughter. That's what I know. You let the blood bleed out. That's not much different from Christian slaughter. The difference is that we nowadays use bolt guns to simply destroy the brainstem, and therefore the animal doesn't feel anything. Within Islam, you just slaughter it like that. So that's the main difference. Thank you very much again. And yeah, by default, I don't want to make a claim that I cannot back up 100%. but if I would have to guess, I would say that at least 80% of the meat that I'm eating is halal anyways. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Thank you so much, guys. Jeff Moesta donated $5. Thank you. And says, I caught beep the kurats and lost my job right after Shahada. Being told it's a test sometimes. I have some doubts about Islam, but feel like I can't turn my back now. Yeah, so ultimately I would say the same, brother. So first and foremost, I personally haven't converted, right? But just because you got the flu and because you lost your job to then critique and doubt Islam, that I personally do not understand, right? So let's just say, for the sake of the argument, you converted to Christianity and after that you got the flu and you lost your job. Even as a Christian, I would say this is a test of God. Right? And this actually reminds me, and I'm going to paraphrase here, of the Quran, when it states sometimes you get something that you think is good, but it's bad for you. And sometimes you perceive something as bad, but it's actually good for you. So to judge Islam upon you, again, getting the flu and losing your job, nah, brother. Definitely not. And this reminds me actually of the Bible, when Jesus says, why are you so weak of faith? Right? You have to put your trust in God here. Most definitely. So this I cannot relate to. There must have been a reason why you converted to Islam, and I hope the reasons were right, but this itself has nothing to do with Islam itself, and has everything to do with it being a test of God. But it has nothing to do with theology itself. Yeah. Man up, brother, man up. For this, if this makes you already doubt Islam, then anything else that will happen will make you drop out right away. What when somebody dies? What will you do then? Right? Drop out right away? This is life, brother. I've been sick for 6 months straight. 6 months, brother. 6 months I've been straight sick. What should I say now? Should I stop researching? Huh? Maybe I should start researching. That's why. I've been researching Islam for the past, I don't know, 8 months or so. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I got sick. Because of Islam. I should never convert. Nah. Like that we cannot think, brother. Thank you very much for the donation. I hope you're gonna get stronger in faith. Ash says, come to Saudi Arabia and donates 8 Saudi Arabian monies. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate it. Hey, I would love to, really. I would love to. God willing, this year we will see where it takes me. Hesham Motham, again, $3. Thank you very much. Bobby, I suggest start to learn about the companions of Prophet Muhammad, the early great heroes of Islam like Omar ibn al-Khattab, Ali ibn Khitareb, Khalid ibn Walid, and inshallah this will be great inspiration. Absolutely, I would really love to respond and react to the companions. First and foremost, Abu Bakr, because I love his name. So definitely, God willing, soon. Richard donated $280. Thank you very much, Richard. And he asks, how do you think your family would react if you revert? It would break them, I'm sure. So I've done a lot of stupid things in my life, but as I said, it is so culturally embedded that if I would say that I am an atheist, I personally do not believe in God, they would kind of laugh it off, I guess, and yeah, well, it is what it is. But if I would convert, for them it would be treason. It would be as if I just, become a traitor. That's it. I trampled upon everything that my forefathers stood upon. I spat on our legacy, and I did the worst thing I can do. My dad told me even, that was back in the day when I just started learning about Islam, and he said to me, I hate those people that convert to other religions, even though I didn't tell him that. And he said it himself, I hate those people. They're weak people. Those people that convert to other religions, they have no pride in them. They are not proud of who they are, what they are. I am a Christian, he said. Even though he doesn't agree with the Trinity, nor does he know about it. right? So it's cultural. And yeah, they would be very, very disappointed. And moreover, my whole family in Macedonia. It was already hard going to Macedonia because I personally do not agree with the Macedonian politics. And I said, I don't identify as Macedonian, I identify as Bulgarian, because that's what we are ethnically. And that was already a humongous deal. And now if I would come and tell them, I'm Muslim, guys, they would say, what? You became Albanian? You're an Albanian now? How? They wouldn't understand. Yeah. Would be terrible for them. Ah, awesome. Yusuf posted recitations with no copyright. That's fantastic, brother. I'm gonna save them right here. And yeah, hopefully I can react to them. Salam Network, man. What a scam. Unbelievable. Thank you very much, Yusuf. M donated $1.12. Thank you very much, M. Dr. Uthman Al-Khamis has a detailed series on the sects in Islam called something in Arabic. But the one problem is that it is in Arabic. Yeah, I believe that it would be so helpful in answering your questions. If you have something in English, it would be amazing, brother. But thank you very much. I might check it out with subtitles. Abdul Rahman donated $3. Check this recitation. Hopefully it's not copyrighted. Surah Al-Furqan. Sheikh Mohammed Al-Lukhaidan. Yeah, I'm gonna save it as well. 1 second. I certainly hope so, bro. As I said, this Salam Network is just a bummer, to put it lightly. Really disrespectful. How can you copyright surahs? I don't understand it. Unbelievable. Muslim First donated 10 Canadian dollars. Thank you so much, Muslim First. In the Quran, then in what statement after this will they
Let's
believe?
create a bright, green future where we all feel compassion.
Is there any way of life claiming to be the truth except that it has clear errors, conjectures, or isn't preserved? Yep, exactly right. And now you might think, okay, this is it, so accept Islam then. But this is literally my fear, because in the Quran it says it and I like to believe it. But at the same time, I'm just wondering about the Hadiths. Yet again, today I got a lot of confirmation. I'm going to do my research. Generally, I'm going to do my homework, and hopefully I'm going to come to the same conclusion. Puhal donated 40 rupiah, thank you very much. Sorry, forgot to say, react to Yusha Evans' revert story. Hey, on that note, Yusha Evans and we are in contact as well, but I think he had to leave to the UK, yes, and we didn't make it. So now he's going to be in the UK, I believe, for a few weeks or so. So once he's back, God willing, he's going to be on the show as well. So we're waiting for Yusha Evans. Thank you very much for the donation. Aziz, $30. Thank you very much for the generous donation, brother. Appreciate it. He says, you're on the right path. Take your shahada, even if in secret. Just don't delay it. Life is not guaranteed. As I said, brother, there is no secret for me. I know that sounds weird to many people nowadays because people don't like to follow the truth. From a Christian perspective, we say they are the children of the lie. So people that follow Satan, we say, are the children of the lie, because Satan is the father of all lies. And I believe that this is an absolutely beautiful description of Satan. He simply lies. And yeah, I wouldn't do it in secret. As I said, if I do the Shahada, even by myself, I'm going to tell you guys. That's it. Not going to postpone, not going to keep it secret. Nah. I cannot lie on Bobby's perspective. I never did. That's not my character, so therefore if I do it, and I tell you. That's it. The only thing that I'm not talking about on Bobby's perspective, truly, is certain things that I cannot mention because of the algorithm and because otherwise they're going to delete my channel. That's it. So, yeah, I only don't mention certain things because otherwise they're going to delete this channel. But I'm not making any secrets. I'm not the type of guy. I find that just lame, to be totally honest. I hate people that lie. Okay. Another super generous super chat, no pun intended, by Zamina Milanak Farah. $50. Thank you so much for the super generous donation. Let me just double check. Do we have a smiley, a sticker, emoji, something? No question, I believe. No, we do. A little super effective sticker. Yeah, it's definitely super effective. Thank you so much for the super chat, Zamina. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's amazing. Irfan Farid donated $5, thank you very much, and says, please react to American pastor to a Muslim preacher in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, that definitely sounds interesting, bro. Let me copy it and look for it real quick. Oh, that has 1 million views. That's amazing. Okay, save to playlist, react. I think I've seen this man before. Very white looking man. Amazing. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I saved it. Thank you, Irfan. Aisa Mohammed donated 25 SAR. Try to watch the movie The Message. I already did, brother. I did, and I talked about it on my live stream. I want to do a reaction video to it as well somehow, but it just didn't happen. I really miss my car, I have to say. Not because of the luxury of driving the car. Here in Thailand, I'm driving the scooter. It's a lot of fun. But at the same time, I love to react. I love to record videos in the car. It was so amazing, man. I could just flow, just drive, reflect, talk. I loved it. So I really miss that, man. Sometimes I'm thinking about renting a car for a week just to react to some videos. But yeah, well, I watched the movie. It was absolutely amazing. And it gave me a totally different perspective on Islam. And to name the movie The Message was so spot on because this was truly what it was about. It was about the message. Really amazing. Thank you so much, Aisa. Haitam donated $1. Thank you very much. Brother, on the day of judgment, you will be on your own. No family, no friends. So do what benefits you, regards of what people will think of you. Yes, that is correct. Even within the Christian context, Jesus said, leave your parents and follow me. Right? So this is what it is. Essentially, religion separates us. Either way. And I've even seen that with religious people within their own religious faith. On the Balkan, as I said, many people have no idea about their religion. And then, when somebody gets serious about their faith, even the Christians themselves, they will say, oh, the guy went crazy. Super religious. So yeah, we have very, very strange times at the moment. People don't even appreciate their own faith. Alright, guys. Guys, fair warning. I've been here for 3 hours now. If you want to donate, want to support, I'm gonna hang back 5 to a maximum of 10 minutes. I don't think I'm gonna do much longer. I have to eat. My wife is waiting for me as well. My son's already asleep. May God bless his soul. But fair warning, if you want to donate now, after that I'm gonna cut off the stream. So 5 more minutes, realistically, maybe 10 minutes max, okay? Okay, let me double check here in the super chat window if I answered everything. And please let me know in the chat box. I'm gonna look into the chat box now. Please let me know if I missed any super chats. Because we had tremendous support tonight. Thank you so much. But we had so many super chats that it's even possible that I missed something. So I hope not. Let me just double check. Do you like cornflakes? Not really. I don't dislike them either, but it's just crappy food. So, yeah. As a kid, I used to really enjoy them and get high off them almost. Wow, cornflakes. Nowadays, I had cornflakes not too long ago, actually. And yeah, it's just boring to me. There's nothing about them that is nice. No, I said it here on the live stream. My wife is not Muslim, she is Christian. She is of the Christian minority of Senegal. Okay, let me just double check again. If I missed anything. Another super chat by Esmedin. Thank you very much again, brother. Hvala, brate. Bobby, Balkan family is very stubborn, although Bosnians are Muslim. We struggle with acceptance. We often depict what we like from the religion and things we don't, and infuse culture with religion. It is absolutely the same with Christianity, and I would even say more than that, because within Christianity we even forgot about the core doctrine, which is the Trinity. And yeah, it's just a testament, man. Balkan people, I love them, really, I love them, but one major issue we have is we believe we know it all. I'm generalizing. Not everybody is like that, but many of us, we like to believe that we just know it all and everything is exactly like we've been told, right? History, politics, religion, we're on the right side, everything is correct. Yeah, so very, very stubborn. Inayet, we say. Inayet. Thank you very much, bro. CBA donated $1. Thank you so much, CBA. Can you do a video about what happens if a woman reverts and her husband does not? Interesting, man. I wouldn't know. Because, as far as I know, for a Muslim man to marry a Christian woman, that is A-okay. She doesn't have to convert. But what if she converts to Islam? Very interesting, man. I wouldn't know. I mean, ultimately you can't do much about it. Let's say both are Christians, they come from a Christian household, and then the woman converts. What is there to do? I don't think that she will be forced back into Christianity, at least definitely not in the Western world. And yeah, I guess it would be the right thing to do for the man to convert, but I don't think he has to. I really wouldn't know. So that's actually interesting. I would Google that and look into it. Why is that? Are you a woman that wants to convert without telling your husband? You have to tell your husband. I'm not your husband, right? You have to clarify that, because the husband is the head of the household after all. So he will have to know. It's important. Hi Bobby, do you have Twitch? Yes, I do have Twitch, but I don't use it. I want to start streaming on Rumble, and I already have an account, and thank you very much, guys. I already have over 1,000 subscribers there. Amazing. 1% of my YouTube. But I want to stream over there as well, because we can be uncensored. Maybe I'm going to do one special stream where we talk about certain substances that you're not allowed to talk about here. Yeah. But I haven't streamed on Twitch. Maybe I should. I don't know if there is much religious folk on Twitch. I thought predominantly it's for gaming. So I haven't been on there. And degenerate thoughts as well. Brother Bobby, have you listened to Sheikh Imran Hossein as of yet? Yes, I did. And there are definitely certain things which are spot on. But many, many things where I'm really wondering about what this man is talking about. And he talked about Macedonia and certain political issues. And dude, he was so wrong. Unbelievable. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely no idea what he was talking about. We have another super chat, but it hasn't been displayed. Ah, there it is. By Tasnim. Thank you very much for the 5 euros, Tasnim. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody today. It was absolutely unreal. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, degenerate thoughts. Absolutely, man. On Twitch, I've seen disgusting things there. Views on Andrew Tate. I'm very conservative when it comes down to judging a person online. I've been subject to judgment online, no matter what I talked about. And when you hear the judgment, you're always wondering, how do those people know? They don't know me, right? They don't know me. I think Tasnim is a woman. Okay, thank you, sister. Sorry for that. And therefore, yeah, I cannot make a judgment. What do I think about him? I respect the hustle and the grind. He exploded like nobody else on YouTube, on social media. For that, respect where respect is due. He's somebody that researched Islam, converted to Islam. For that, I have huge respect as well. And moreover, when we come down to the businesses that he was involved in, I, of course, even from a Christian perspective, you have to understand, I cannot say that this is right. And I find it disgusting. So, but not to judge him, because I was a degenerate myself, huge degenerate, extreme, hardcore degenerate. So therefore, I would have done the same if I've gotten the opportunity. So therefore, this is not judgment. But that being said, that business comes with risks. And now, if this is a ripple effect from that business, even if he didn't do it, just a ripple effect from that haram money, so to speak, I would understand. God is just, and he will judge us either way. And therefore, yeah, again, no judgment from me. I personally cannot affirm that type of business, and I can understand that if something bad comes out of it, that's the name of the game. So, for example, I used to be involved in certain things that are criminal. I used to be involved in them, right? And then later on, I got a ripple effect from that. Rightfully so. It's my own fault. Friends of mine, years and years after they did or did not do certain things, it rippled down. And they had to go to jail years, almost 10 years after committing or not committing certain things. That's a ripple effect, right? And therefore, again, even if he didn't do it, I personally don't believe that he did human trafficking, etc., etc. But if there is a ripple effect of those bad deeds, then so be it, right? And he's a strong man. He will get through it. No worries. I wish him well. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. Anas Gaming asks, imagine you lived during the Prophet's time, how would you as a scholar preserve the Hadith? Think about it. Subhanallah, the science of Hadith is crazy. How would I preserve it during the time? I personally wouldn't know. I wasn't there, so therefore I wouldn't have a certain method. I just know about the game that we played in school. In Germany we called it Stille Post, which means silent post. I'm not sure how it's called in English. It's when you whisper something into somebody's ear and then he whispers that word to somebody else and then he whispers that word to somebody else. And in the end, it's a totally different word. All right, and therefore, this is why I'm skeptical. That's it. Can't blame me for that. I know that even in one room, in one moment of time, certain things that are being whispered turn out to be the exact opposite. Right? You start with spaghetti and in the end you have whatever. Right? And that's why. So that's why I'm skeptical. Telephone. Yeah, telephone. That's the name. Chinese whispers. Interesting. Yeah, but that's why. So people are flawed. And this is something that I learned throughout my life. People are always flawed and I cannot really submit to man-made things. This is why I'm afraid of the man-made structures within Islam, if there are any. The pure monotheism descendant down from God, I would like to submit right away. But when it comes down to potential man-made things, then I'm very, very cautious because I saw it in Christianity. That's what I'm really afraid of. When I saw what Paul did, man, I don't want to go through that again. Okay. Another super chat by Tesnim. I assume now that you're a woman, right? That's what I've been told. So I'm going to say thank you, sister. And she says, look at the hadiths from the Quranic perspective, Bobby. Okay, let me Google this. One second. Quran. I hope this is right. when I type this in, 1689, it shows me Surah An-Nahl. I hope this is the correct one, yeah? 1 second. Here we go. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for still supporting. Very soon I'm tuning out, guys, okay? Just to make sure. So we have Surah An-Nahl. An-Nahl. Consider, O Prophet, the day we will call against every faith community a witness of their own. And we will call you to be a witness against these people of yours. We have revealed to you the book as an explanation of all things, a guide, a mercy, and good news for those who fully submit. Okay, so first and foremost, I hope this is the right surah. Let me read this again. Consider, O Prophet, the day we will call against every faith community a witness of their own. So that means against every faith community, against every religion, other than Islam, I assume, they will call a witness from their own community, which means a revert, I would assume, right? Correct me if I'm wrong here. And we will call you to be a witness against these people of yours. So which means that the Prophet himself will testify against the Ummah, against the Muslims, if I see this correctly. So apparently the reverts will go against their community, their faith community, but the Prophet will go against the Muslims. Am I understanding this correctly? We have revealed to you the book as an explanation of all things, a guide, a mercy, and good news for those who fully submit. Man, this is mind-blowing to me, see? Every single time when you reread the Quran, you find something new. Again, guys, thank you so much for that super chat here. When I read this, I'm not a scholar. I cannot know certainly, right? I see it pragmatically. I would like to think that I'm seeing it logically. As somebody that is reading revelation from God. This is revelation from God. We assume, okay? The Quran is revelation from God. So it speaks directly to us. And then we read this. The way that I understand it, and I must assume that God wrote it a certain way, or transmuted it a certain way, that I will understand it, right? It is for us. So I read it, and I hear that people from our own faith communities, the Christians, the Jews and whatnot, will go against the faith communities. But at the same time, the Prophet will go against the Muslims. And then it says clearly that everything is revealed within the Quran. So how am I to understand this? I will definitely save this. This is absolutely mind-blowing yet again. Thank you so much. Let me save this, Surah An-Nahl. Here we go, fantastic. And I will ask scholars about this. Because, as I said to John as well, when I'm reading Hadiths, it's nice, it's interesting, but it doesn't have the same effect, man. No chance. The Quran is different. Thank you so much, Tesnim. I really appreciate this. Really amazing. Okay, we had another super chat. Tafsir button, please. Okay, let me see. Is there a Tafsir button on this page as well? It says read the full surah. Translation by verse. I don't see a Tafsir button here. I will definitely read the Tafsir about it in my spare time to understand. Thank you very much, guys. Really, absolutely amazing. I'm just saying that by itself, if we say the Quran is complete on its own, that's how it comes across. It really does. The book icon. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's have a look. And then slowly but surely, guys, I really have to tune out. Let's have a look. Let's do it. Okay. Every prophet will bear witness against his nation on the day of resurrection. So this is the prophet that will bear witness against his nation. Allah addressed his servant and messenger Muhammad saying. This is the surah again, right? No, there's something else. And on the day when we resurrect a witness from each nation, okay, we resurrect, from among themselves, and we bring you, O Muhammad, as a witness against these, meaning your ummah. The ayah means, remember that day and its terrors, and the great honor and high position that Allah has bestowed upon you. This ayah is like the ayah which Abdullah bin Mas'ud ended when he recited to the Messenger of Allah from the beginning of Surat An-Nisa, when he reached the ayah, how will it be then when we bring from each nation a witness, and we bring you, O Muhammad, as a witness against these? The Messenger of Allah said to him, Ibn Mas'ud said, I turned to him and saw his eyes streaming with tears. The Quran explains everything. Okay, so this is not converts or people that will go against their own community, but allegedly, apparently, it says that the prophets that have been sent to those communities, they will testify against their communities because they didn't follow the message, apparently, I assume. And then you will have Muhammad that testifies against his ummah. The Quran explains everything. And we revealed the book, the Quran, to you as an explanation of everything. Ibn Mas'ud said, Allah made it clear that in this Quran there is complete knowledge and about everything. The Quran contains all kinds of beneficial knowledge, such as reports of what happened in the past, informations about what is yet to come, what is lawful and unlawful, and what people need to know about their worldly affairs, their religion, their livelihood in this world, and their destiny in the hereafter. Should I say I rest my case? That's how it feels. A guidance means for their hearts, a mercy and good news for the Muslims, and we have revealed the book, the Quran, as an explanation of everything, meaning with the Sunnah. How? Honestly, how? I don't understand this. And you know, I'm always unfiltered, I genuinely mean this. And we have revealed the book, the Quran, as an explanation of everything, point blank, and now meaning with the Sunnah. That is the reason why the phrase. So the Sunnah, in terms of Hadiths, that goes directly against what it says here. It says, this is the explanation of everything. Okay? And we have revealed the book to you is mentioned immediately after the phrase. And we shall bring you, O Muhammad, as a witness against these. The meaning, and Allah knows best, is that the one who obligated you to convey the book which he revealed to you will also ask you about that on the day of resurrection. Okay, I will have to read further in my own spare time. Again, even reading this, for me personally, it goes against each other because it clearly says that the Quran is perfect, it is complete. I really don't understand, man. It leaves me again with the same questions. Okay, anyways, thank you very much. I'm definitely going to do my homework on this as well. It's very, very interesting, but at the same time it just brings me back to it again. The Quran is complete, it seems. Anyways, okay, I'm going to go through the last Super Chats and Streamlabs donations, guys. This is the last warning, if you will. After that, I'm offline. Thank you so much. Let me check what we got. Thank you so much. The Lone Wolf donated $5. Bobby, could you react to Khalid Ibn Walid, a profile of a warrior? I'm sure you will enjoy it. Thank you for the stream. Absolutely, brother. Let me copy that as well to my playlist. God willing, soon we're going to react to it. Thank you so much, guys, for sending me those videos. A profile of a warrior. Oh, it's 1 hour and 24 minutes, man. That is too long, brother. I'm gonna save it, and maybe my spare time I'm gonna watch it. However, I'm gonna react to meet the third greatest general in history who ever lived. Khalid ibn Walid. I'm gonna save it to my playlist because that video is only 10 minutes long. I cannot react to 1 hour videos. It's impossible. But thank you so much again for mentioning this man. And then we have Abdullah Alk. Thank you very much, brother, who says Quran 59:7. Okay, quickly, guys. Real quick. But then I have to tune out. It has been really long. And this is Surah Al-Hashr. I hope this is the right one. Here we go. Whatever from the possessions of the townspeople Allah has bestowed on His messenger belongs to Allah. Okay, so whatever God has given to His messenger belongs to God. And to the messenger, and to his kinfolk, and to the orphans, and to the needy, and to the wayfarer, so that it may not merely circulate between the rich among you. So accept whatever the messenger gives you, and refrain from whatever he forbids you. And fear Allah. Verily Allah is most stern in retribution. So I believe that this then you think is the hadiths, right? Whatever he gives you. But couldn't this be literally whatever he gives you? Because they say it here as well. That whatever he gives to you is coming from God, right? Anyways, I'm going to analyze that in my spare time, brother. Thank you so much. Again, I have to tune out now. It has been 3 hours and 20 minutes. I said 5 minutes. It has been 20 now. Let me just read out the last super chats and then we're tuning out. Ken Suryo donate $10. Thank you so much, Ken Suryo. Hey Bobby, any idea on how Islam makes sense, specifically of Luke 22:19-20, speaking of body and blood of Christ, and if so, can you possibly clarify here or in a future video project? Okay, brother, I will save this, promise. Yeah, I'm saving it right now. Luke 22:19. Save it here. Okay. And then I'm gonna, God willing, react to it in a future live stream or in a video. Okay? Thank you very much for your donation. I really appreciate it, but now it's getting really too late. Thank you so much. Betül is a Turkish female name, right? Donated 50 Turkish... What was it again? Lira, right? I agree that you should learn about the companions. There is a series about Omar's life. I highly recommend it. It's amazing. I definitely want to. Thank you very much. God willing, soon we're going to react to the companions. Hisham Uthman donated... It's Hisham Uthman, right? Donated $1. Thank you very much. It is not the reverts, Bobby. It's the prophets. Yes, I understood that whilst reading further. From every nation will testify that they deliver the right message to the nations, and Prophet Muhammad will testify it to the Muslims. Yes. Noted and understood. Okay, now let me just double check the super chats. My eyes are getting crossed, man. It's getting late. Okay. I think this is it. I think I reacted to all of them. Guys, 3 hours and 20 minutes. Supremely long super chat. Thank you so much for your attendance today. This was absolutely breathtaking. 2,300 people, the biggest live stream ever on this channel. For me, this is absolutely huge. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thank you so much for supporting absolutely mind-blowing super chats. The biggest one was by Wasfe. $200. Absolutely insane. Thank you so much that you appreciate my work. Thank you so much that you are so generous in supporting. Thank you so much for the faith that you put into this channel and myself. And thank you so much for the love. I really appreciate it. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. It doesn't go unnoticed. Guys, as always, guys, I'm going to cut it off now. Again, if you liked it, thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already and you watched it till here, what are you doing? Subscribe. If you want to further support the channel, all the links are in the description box, Patreon, etc. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Alright, guys, this is it. As always, may God bless you all. Much love and peace.